Peace, family. This your brother, Mr. Holipsism, here today, talking about something that I've been interested in for I don't know, quite some time now. I don't know how long the show is going to last because Minister DeWood was supposed to be with me, but he couldn't make it. And the rest of my people are in transit, so I don't know if I'm going to run my mouth for 2 hours. I doubt if that's going to happen. But I did want to talk about this, even if no one was on here to talk about it with me. And the title of the show is Dream Warriors, the men and women who design futures. And I have a quote here from George Bernard Shaw, one of my favorite quotes, actually, as the description in the show. And it says, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man, or the unreasonable one, persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Um, Peace, Fatty Black. Yo, Fatty Black, can you get in on this show with me? Peace, Vic Shepherd. Are you available, Fatty Black? Because I know me and you can probably have a really good conversation on this subject. Ronan Black, too. Okay, let me see. I think I have your email address. Let me try to send it to you. Oh, but let me just finish with the description. Um, Members of the BAIO discuss outside of the box thinking in relationship to land, infrastructure, and nationhood, and breaking out of old. Why am I not able to talk this morning? What the hell? And breaking out of old, wasteful, and inefficient modes of thinking and concentrating more on creative technological efficiency. And I know that's a bunch of wordy stuff that we can unpack, definitely. But the basic premise is, how can you ever have a nation, and especially the nation that you want, if you don't dream big? If you don't think outside of the box of how things are ordinarily done and try to design a culture and a system based on efficiency, not just based on it's been done for hundreds of years, so let's just keep on doing it. You know what I mean? I gotta close Facebook because I'm getting this thread with Kala and he's driving me crazy. Um, so in light of that, let's see. Black African Power Network, peace, what's real? Peace. Peace to everybody in the chat room. Peace to everybody listening. Hit the like button. Oh, I don't have Bell Thanos with me, so I guess the trolls are gonna take over if they find out this live stream is going on. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was just efficiency and how I'm gonna give an example of what I mean by doing things the same way for hundreds of years and not questioning the process for getting it done. I had the pleasure of meeting Bell Thanos in New York um last week, and we went to dinner and Kofi Newton was there and we were talking, and this subject came up about efficiency and just outside of the box thinking. And one of the examples that I use is inefficiency in food production and food consumption. And I want you to think, because a lot of times we just do shit and we don't think about it because we're just used to doing it. It's sort of equivalent of you're riding in your car at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's absolutely no traffic. You're the only car on the road. You can't see anything going left of you or right of you, behind you or forward, just you, and yet you're stopping for a red light. Most people don't think about that because you're just used to doing it because you've been trained. See the red light, you stop. You see the green light, you go. So it doesn't matter what your surroundings are. You just do what you've been programmed to do. And I was thinking about that in terms of food and what the process is until you actually consume the food and how wasteful it is. So first you kill the animal. Let's just use as an example a cow, because you can cut a cow up into many different parts. So you kill the cow, you kill the animal. First, you have to feed the animal, get the animal stuffed and ready for slaughter. Then you slaughter the animal. And everything, every step that I'm talking about requires time and a process. So you slaughter the animal, but we're going to start after the slaughter because that's, we don't want to get into the feeding of the animal and stuff because that doesn't make any sense given the example that I'm giving. So you slaughter the animal, you cut it up into whatever pieces, and then now you have to ship those pieces to either your butcher or your supermarket. So I'm assuming you have to freeze those and transport, depending upon how long and how much gas you have to use, how much time has to be traveled, and how much gas has to be used to get to the destination that you're going to. And since supermarkets are all over the country, I'm assuming that's a lot of gas. Then once it gets to the supermarket or the butcher, then they have to probably put it in their freezer, and then they package up and sell the meat that they're ready to sell to the public. You come in, you buy the meat, you take the meat home, and you put it in your freezer. Sits in your freezer for about a month. You finally cook the goddamn meat, and then you eat it. How long is that process and that whole consumption of that one piece of meat? Peace, Jamal Lamar. Peace, Mr. Cat. So you see where I'm going with this? It's like, how can we make that process more efficient? Now, I was looking at a video. Somebody, it was a YouTuber who went to Italy, and they were talking about their experience in Italy and how everything tastes better in Italy. Peace, Nandata. Peace, Richard. And how fresh the food was, how nobody really stores huge amounts of food. Like the concept of Costco's and BJ's is foreign to them. They don't understand that concept. Because, and also another concept that I found interesting, they don't understand the concept of having a large refrigerator because they say having a large refrigerator actually wastes food. And I can agree with that because I can look at my refrigerator right now and see stuff that I'm like, wait a minute, what was that? You know what I'm saying? Peace, Jim Denson. Let me send you this invite right now, Fatty Black. I won't say your real name because I know what it is. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Anybody else want to get on the discussion? Send me an email too. Boom. Invite sent. Invite sent. Send. I can't believe I said that. Like I said, I can't talk this morning. I don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, Fatty Black, you just got it. See, you get in easily. I don't understand it. Like you, it's so simple for you to get in. Everybody else is like a complicated process. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know either, man.
Yeah, but did you hear what I was saying about the food consumption?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I could give a good opinion on that because in my own house right now with my mom and my brother, we pretty much do that a lot. So, like just like my own family, like my mom would buy stuff and then like she'll just like forget about it like in the next month or so, and then goes back in there, like vegetables, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
She'll come up with an idea of a meal, but then she'll never execute it because of like just other like things, like she just probably just didn't feel like cooking that day or the whole month,
Right.
like that particular meal. And then when she finally gets to it, she realizes that it's all wilted. So
Right.
it's like, so I totally understand that, like with the analogy you was going with.
Yeah, and I just felt like an outside the box thinking to me in terms of dealing with that particular type of situation is localized food production.
Yeah.
Like why does meat have to be transported across state and all this other stuff when you can actually have local economies, where you have food production actually from the place that you live in. Like I'm talking about down to neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to avoid waste and inefficiency. And it also, like you said, if like, well, I shouldn't say how you said, but like what somebody was talking about the size of the refrigerators and us, this whole concept of storage and hoarding food that eventually ends up getting wasted anyway, rather than getting fresh food, cooking it, eating it, and if you run out of it, just go to the store and get some more.
But or at least buy a week's worth.
Yeah,
So
you know, like they don't in Italy they were saying that they don't store food like that. Like they get their bread, they eat it, and if they run out, they just get more.
yeah, like
Everything's local. The fruits and vegetables, because you can't keep vegetables and fruit around for long extended periods of time.
yeah,
You just can't do it. Like I end up wasting a lot of vegetables, and I make them, but I still can't make them all in one shot.
yeah.
So like usually I have to get the vegetables for that particular dish that I'm making. But how often can you do that?
Yeah.
Like I did
It's
make a soup yesterday. I made a soup and I used all the ingredients for that particular soup, but you ain't gonna eat soup all the time.
yeah. It's but like it's meant to like cuz it's are the people in Italy, was it like I guess you could say like a countryside area, or was it like in like the city?
In
Like
the
one of the cities
city,
like Rome
in the
or
city.
something like that. Oh wow. That's I
Yeah,
never heard. That's crazy. So they eat like that in a city?
yeah. Because they have things available in the city that's there.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
it's
do here, but that's what I'm saying. Like we do here, but we don't even think like that. We just try to buy for like the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah. Well, that's because
So
the food isn't produced here. Like we have supermarkets and we have availability to access to the stuff, but it's not produced here. So it's a long, we have to rely on the stuff being transported from other places in order to eat. That's why I say, like the running joke I always say about people who think they're going to fight the white man
yo, we gotta
is
talk
that
about that after this, bro.
is just shut down the bridges and don't allow the food trucks to get to the supermarkets and fight over because
I
you
mean,
can't
like,
feed yourself. You know what I mean?
yeah, like, they kind of doing that, like, cause I'm in the Bronx, as you know, and
Hmm.
I'm around Hunts Point and like Southern Boulevard as well.
Hmm.
And that whole Southern Boulevard was like a pretty much back then. It used to be like a big market, like market district.
Hmm.
And even now, like on Hunts Point, like right above the station, they have these fresh fruit markets or fresh veggies markets, like every like once a week. So
Right.
you have people coming from like different farms in the state coming down to Hunts Point to like sell their fresh
Hmm.
food that they just picked that morning and they
Right.
transported there. So
I love farmers markets because in Brooklyn we have a farmers market. We have like two known ones that I know. One is like downtown Brooklyn,
mhm.
and one is on Grand Army Plaza. And I go there all the time. It's like um, it gives a chance for local farmers
Yeah,
to sell their products and stuff. But I
I
think
was.
that
Now go ahead.
yeah, I think that when we talk about nationhood and you have neighborhoods and towns and cities, has there ever been any real discussion about how those towns and neighborhoods should be configured?
Um, I'm not gonna say here say I haven't heard that.
Oh,
It's
really? You
mainly
have?
is yeah, mainly from like these like from the Hebrews, these black Hebrews. They kind of mentioned something like that.
Really?
But yeah, because apparently they have some what you would say compounds, I guess, for lack of a better term,
Hmm.
where they like pretty much have like their like multiple families living together and like building like a community. Like even in Israel, actually, this is why I don't understand. Like speaking of, since I'm talking about them right now, this is why I don't understand why they just don't move there. Because I remember watching a Vice documentary, and it was talking about the Israeli citizens,
Hmm.
and they actually went to Israel, and there was a literal whole community of black Israelites living together.
Hmm.
So I'm like, why did they just don't follow their footsteps and just go over there and live there? But we know why. But
Well, I think one of the
but
main reasons why is that we don't think on a nationalist level. We think on an individual level. Like, yeah, and I think we're all guilty of it. Like, even if within
yeah,
the I would say African Senate progressive black nationalist circle, you very rarely hear us talking about. Well, let me not say that. You don't see it as the dominant form of the conversation when people are talking about moving as a collective. Most people are thinking about themselves. Like, I want to go to Africa. I want to do this. I have a business. I. And I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that objectively, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
People are thinking in those terms. You know? So that's why I'm really trying to get us to concentrate on this whole concept of putting together a team of professionals, picking a piece of land, going over and surveying the land, and then coming up with blueprints for what we want to do, and then actually going about the process of doing it. That seems to me a lot easier to me, a process, than waiting for everybody to get on the same page and to love each other and all this other bullshit. It's plenty of people. We have enough circle of people who want to get certain things done now, and we have the skills and the abilities to carry them out. So why not take advantage of that?
Hence the trip to Rwanda.
Right.
So.
Right.
Oh yeah, OB. Yeah, they are. That's pretty much what the documentary was talking about. Because the white Hebrews were sitting there like, who the fuck are these Negroes?
Right.
That was pretty much the documentary. And it was even more interesting. They're actually like they're Afro-American like us. Like they actually came from here and moved over there. Like they actually sat down and talked to them and like saw how the whole little town got like built and all that. So, but I
mean, I'm all for it. Like if anybody feels, my only thing is, why would you go over to a place and be marginalized overseas? Just like you marginalize here in America. It's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, we keep thinking of community and not nation.
Yeah. But
you don't
like
understand that communities exist within the context of a nation.
Like I said in the conference call, like people really think, like African Senate progressives really think nation building is literally just having a black family and that's it. I mean, it starts there.
African Senate progressive don't think that. I think the average conscious community people think it.
Yeah, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, most of them think that that's the only thing that you need for nation building, and that's it. Oh, actually, since we on that topic, so you remember that guy that I told you about last time, right? That was like just against nationhood for some reason.
Yeah.
So for the people that's watching, well, if anybody that's new watching, like we know, like most of us here, or if not all of us, the conscious community is pretty much like a joke, and you can kind of tell who's like really like invested into that community, quote unquote community. Because I mentioned nationhood again, right? In another post, and the same, because I guess me and this guy we follow the same person, right? So I was saying in the initial comment, let me scroll down real quick.
Was this on Facebook?
No, I was on Instagram. I want you to I really want people to understand how most of these people think. Mind you, I think he's like my age too, like 23, 20, like in his early 20s. So I said when actually, because they're talking about like conservatives, right? Because like I don't know if you saw recently, there was like a whole like event of just black conservatives, whatever the fuck that is. And they all had like MAGA hats on and shit. So I was like, I was responding to the caption. So I was like, when actually leaving and creating a new nation makes the most sense to do. But most of us still believe that the quote unquote almighty white people are going to foil every plan we think of, right? So now the person that made the post, he agreed. He said, yeah. He said they subconsciously think that they need permission from whites to merely look down the street.
Right.
So then this guy that's against nationhood, right, comes up again. He says, I think staying and fighting makes the most sense. What kind of cowards are just going to pick up and run? That's foolish. So I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, so then another person, she, I don't know if you actually noticed, it's actually African Center preschool in Brooklyn, actually. I think it's called Seneca Village. I don't know if you heard of it.
I think I have. Where is it at? In Bed-Stuy?
I'm not sure exactly. I want to say Flatbush, but I'll look it up while we're talking later and then give you the link. But the one of the, I think she's actually the founder of the school. she said she actually agreed with me. She said this very thing is discussed in the Destruction of Black Civilization, which I actually got to read myself. Actually, I have it, but I just haven't touched it.
Yeah, you got to read that.
But people don't read. They want to keep fighting, quote unquote, but not really fighting in parentheses. All the while really integrating and mixing and losing because they love this place so much. So then the guy responds to me, right? Mm-hmm. And says the same, because I asked him, what are you fighting exactly? Right? So that he says the same thing you're running away from. And I'm like, which is? And then so he's like, so you don't even know what you're fleeing the country for, right? I'm like, why are you against having a nation of your own free of corruption? And then he goes, why are you against defending yourself? So I'm like, okay, fuck this dude, right? I'm trying to be nice, I'm like, now I'm just like, just fuck.
You must be a Republican.
No, he's not. That's the crazy shit. He's not even he's not in any party. So then he's like, so I'm like, all right, so what's the plan then? Tell me how you're gonna take down white people when in your mind, based on the last post that I told you about, they're almighty. Please, I'd love to hear this. Crickets. Not a fucking thing. And what was even made me laugh is that I'm actually followed his brother that's he was in the military. He's actually a drill sergeant too when he was in. Mm-hmm. And he actually made a post. He's like, yo, it's funny how like a lot of these dudes out here really talking like about like tactics and shit, but never actually been in the battlefield at all. I don't even know what it feels like to actually be in the battle.
Right.
But yeah, they like the fucking head honchos of fucking taking down the white man and all these tactics and shit. And they're like, yo, like, just shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I really think like the Killmonger character in Black Panther really like just warped a lot of people's mind. Mind you, I like the character a lot.
Yeah.
But what people just tend to not understand is he had a plan of doing that. It wasn't like he was just thinking on the fly. He literally planned his whole life to take over that nation to then get the resources of that nation. Mm-hmm. Because that's the main thing they don't understand. They're talking about fighting, and it's like, okay, so what country is backing you for that?
They don't think. They don't see. My thing is, I always I find that people usually get pissed at me because I ask questions.
Yeah.
Instead
of like you just gotta be a drone.
Yeah. Instead of just providing, like for me, all right. So then you saying we want to go to war? Okay. So I know I have certain questions. If you talk about going to war and being physically confrontational inside of the land of the person that controls the land, then you got there's some things that I want to know. I'm sorry.
That alone is just laughable. Like it's like you didn't even like that didn't click in your head that's a stupid idea.
Like, I want to ask a question. One of the questions I want to ask is, where is the opposition to force recon?
Meaning?
In America, they have what they call force recon. I think the total amount of people within that entire department is 400. It's like they are the most elite soldiers in America in their armed services. Even if they're higher than Green Berets, higher than all of that shit. Force recon. The training required just to pass the physical to get into that shit is virtually impossible. You talk about somebody that if you was to tie them up, leave them in a desert, go home, they would be at your door waiting for you. Where's the equivalent? Where's the equivalent of that on our side that we have kids that we've been training since small children to fight against our enemies? Where's that at?
Nothing. I don't even know how African militaries, how they like the training required for those.
Right.
All I see them is just having AKs and that's it, and the uniform.
Right. Oh, Eric Colazzo, Force Recon is the
Marines. Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Where's the African equivalent of that? Where's it at?
I don't even fucking know.
Oh, he says not above Rangers, Green Berets, or SEAL. Okay, yeah. Force Recon is a Marine special ops. That's true.
You know what's well, since we talking about that, I actually watched this show. I think it's not Surviving the Cut, because Surviving the Cut is mainly American militaries, like different like special forces of that.
Hmm.
It was this British like, because you know like the British Air Force, they have the SAS, which is like their black ops teams, right, or special forces. And I
Right.
was watching that, and like they'll have like at least like 100 people, but only like 3 people make the cut of the team. And like the training that they go through is like severe. Like it's actually really crazy. Like I couldn't do it. And it's funny, like it's crazy. Like the easiest thing to do is the hardest thing for them to do, which is at the end, they have to make a jump into the water, well, for
Hmm.
just their underwear. And for some odd reason, for everybody that made it to that point, it's like that's like the hardest thing for them. And if you don't do it, then you just cut automatically. And it's like, because it's like everything that built up to that is like it's just like too much for them for some reason. Like they like I think actually Walking Dead like 2 seasons ago they actually did this. So what they do is one of the parts, right? Just to show you how intense it is. They keep these dudes in there for like 3 days, right? Or just blasting music, right? With their heads, with their hands tied and faces covered. And then they'll randomly come in and just interrogate them for information. Like just like for the training. And
Right.
if they say that I give up, then they automatically cut. So the
Wow.
goal is to not say nothing while you're in this room for 3 days, fucking just listening to random music blasting in your face. So, but like we do kind of have, well, we don't. Well, I'm not gonna go as far as saying we have special forces, but we have like gun clubs. That's the most we really have, but that's only here. On a continent, again, I don't know, because from what I think they actually get their training from European militaries, if I'm not mistaken.
Eric, what country were you in Africa where you served and worked with some of them? I'm interested to know what country has the special forces. Somebody had said something earlier, like about. Oh, peace to everybody in the room, by the way, who came in.
Everybody get the likes up.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, hit the like button.
We actually got 0 trolls so far. Wow, I'm surprised.
Don't speak too soon. You know how that is. Someone said something about living off the grid. Oh, okay. What do you all think about off the grid building in Afghanistan? My question would be
Why would we have to be off the
why?
grid? Yeah, that's our
Like why?
land.
There's a reason for people being off the grid here in America. Like they have specific reasons why they choose to do that. Like if you're establishing a nation state, why would you have off the grid? Like off the grid from what? By I guess I don't understand the question. You got to be a little bit more
Yeah, because I'm
specific with
like,
that.
if why would anybody do that unless they're doing something malicious?
Yeah, it just seems
Especially in our
odd.
own land. Yeah, like if we have our own land, nobody really should be living off the grid unless they're doing treacherous activity. That's the only thing I could think of. So,
Oh, he said Angola. Oh, that's actually nice to know.
okay,
Angola has special forces. Not bad.
that's something new to me.
Hey, Eric, have
Who?
you been through that, Eric? Like, have you gone through like any of those special ops training? I'll give him a chance to answer.
Okay.
I'm interested to know. Davey says, Holip, if African countries are expropriating, and keep in mind, my tongue is not working this morning, so forgive me. Land, African American farmers should go and help train those farmers. Black Americans are losing farmland anyway. See, Dave, one of the biggest problems that I have is I'm not a big advocate of moving chess pieces around when we haven't established anything of our own yet. I just don't feel that we're organized. So when you say we need to do this, like who are we talking about? Who exactly are we talking about when we say we need to help this one and we need to help that? When, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see the pot or the kettle or whatever to piss in here in America or overseas, anywhere. I mean, we talk about establishing it, but I think we need to have a clearly defined and tangible and concrete we. And currently that doesn't exist. It's just everybody's out here just doing their own thing. Did I
So I
lose
wouldn't say.
Chris? Oh, you're there. Okay, I thought I lost you because you went. went really silent.
I wouldn't say we don't have a concrete we as like totally like we have us
Oh
at the
yeah, yeah.
BAIO.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have what we're trying to establish
Yeah.
something, but on a socioeconomic and political level, that
Oh
we
yeah,
us and
there that
our,
yeah that we yeah
that doesn't
that's
exist. This is like it's a vague abstraction. It's like that's why when people, it kills me when people try to play this game about who's blacker than who, and by what metric are you measuring? What does that even mean? Because when I start talking about nationhood, you're looking at me with three heads, like I'm, like I'm Ghidra or something.
like Negro what?
Yeah. So
What you talk about?
if wanting to have your own nation means that you're not down with black people, then I'm really curious to see what your metric is. What are you measuring it by? Like how cool your clothes look? Like give me something that I can hang on to. Like, because obviously being for your people, that doesn't make you eligible for blackness. So please, can someone please explain to me, like, what's the prerequisites for you to have your black card? Because I'm really confused by it.
Yo, there's like so many variables when it comes to that shit. Like, like I'll be hearing people now, like people are saying like Malcolm X is in he's what is it? I think they're saying like he's black but he's not African or some shit.
Mhm.
Because I think his mom is biracial, and it's like I'm like, but that could be said for a good amount of us already here, like based on the past, you know. But I'm like, I don't know. It's like they move the goalposts genetically a lot, so I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Like, okay, Dave says farmers who lose their land in America to prevent famine. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, no. OB says basically I'm talking about green, efficient style of building infrastructure. That's not living off the grid.
yeah, that's just living that lifestyle.
That's just something that would be incorporated into the infrastructure of the society or the nation. Like that wouldn't be
Being
off the grid. And
being off the
actually,
grid
if we
is like
had that type of style of green efficient style infrastructure, we wouldn't need to live off the grid. And I'm
like
talking about,
me. Yeah,
you
go
know,
ahead.
I'm
Go
talking
ahead.
about your average citizen. Of course, there are going to be certain percentage of people that want to have the off the grid roughing it style living, and they just love that shit. Knock yourself out.
Not gonna stop you. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think too that like we might try to like convert the already tribes there to our Western ways. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, if they would have lived that way, fine. We'll protect them to making sure they can preserve that because that is important.
Hmm.
But it's not like we trying to force anybody. Me personally, because again, everybody in the group's thoughts is not. It's not a beehive.
Not
I
monolithic.
personally, yeah, it's not monolithic. Me personally, I would like it to be like so when we do establish it that we eventually expand and then eventually have like other countries pretty much like kind of like being a part of the BIO, like just expanding to the point of the whole continent is kind of like the whole continent is one, like Australia, how Australia is literally a continent and a country at the same time, something
Mhm.
like that. So, but we'll see.
Yeah. What do you like in terms of this outside of the box thinking in terms of how we do things? Do you have any examples of that you want to bring forward?
Give me an example so I can build on that. Let's
Well,
see if
we were
that sparks
talking
for me.
about just out like trying to think outside of the box of how things are traditionally done in societies and try to come up with a more efficient model.
Hmm.
And that can be in any industry, however you see, but that's the basic concept. Like, do you see that in your industry, like inefficient ways of doing things that people just keep that's been doing it for years and they just do it because they've been doing it and it's not really a reason behind it?
Well, in technology, I can't really speak on that really for me because the technology is different. Like
Yeah,
technology
exactly.
has always is meant to make your life better, so and more efficient,
Right.
anyways.
Right.
So in technology, you wouldn't count into individuals that that actually want to like that are still stuck in their old ways. Like my last job, right? I don't know, like my old boss, he had a certain way of troubleshooting, and my coworker and slash classmate, he would always get upset because he would be like he would always like actually like say it to him, like he's like, yo, like this is like we don't have to do this step. It's clear that if we try that, it's not gonna work anyways. And then my boss would be like, no, just try it, and then they would just be going back and forth for like 5 minutes about either whose thought process is correct. And I'll just be the mediator. I'm like, yo, just do it. Let him see that it's wrong, and then he'll realize what you were saying. Because I don't know, like a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people don't have the patience like that too. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like me. I'm the kind of person like, if you don't believe me, then just Google it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Right. So this is like stuff like that, like in the tech industry, like, but like even now, like at my current job, there's some things that I wish they did that my last job did. Like it's weird. It was like this whole job at because I actually work at WNET now, which is PBS.
Right.
It was the whole job transfer was like a pretty much give and take when it comes to like inefficient ways of thinking and building like infrastructures.
Right.
Like it's a good example. Like it's how their accounts are too. How their accounts are based. Like everything is synced, which is how my last job is trying to get it to be. But how my last job did it isn't as effective in a certain way as my current job is. And my current job, when it comes to storage, like cloud storage, they still rely on shared drives, aka servers, like physical servers. That's within the building. But my old job, they rely on the OneDrive. I'm pretty good. You on Windows 10, right? On your computer? Yeah. Yeah, so you see the Microsoft OneDrive, that's a cloud storage data with Microsoft, like kind of like Google Drive, the same thing.
Right.
Actually, OneDrive is more beneficial because you get a terabyte of cloud data, as with Google, you only get like 15 gigs free of cloud data.
Yeah, I think I got both of them.
Yeah, I do too because I have Google Fi, like Google's cellular network. But it's stuff like that. So, but again, like for me in technology is different because like that's the whole point of the industry is to make everybody's lives better.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's true. But I was thinking about like I've used the example of food consumption and how that's wasteful, and just the whole process of from animal to mouth, and how long and how much resources are put into it actually getting consumed. It just seems extremely wasteful to me.
Yeah, like that's what we were saying earlier. Like people still are. It's just the invention of the refrigerator is people just tend to be more wasteful. Because before it was kind of like you would buy it day of, or at least like put like salt and stuff on it to like preserve it for at least the next day. Now it's like all you got to do is put everything in the deep freeze and you're good. So.
Plus, you know, I think one of the things that I don't see people mentioning is different types of neighborhoods and different types of living situation. Like you have the urban city dwellers, you know, and then you have like the more suburban, you know, then you got people on the countryside, rural areas. So your nation is going to be broken up into those type of situations. It's just a question of how.
That was good, Donata.
Oh, he's in?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Not much.
How you doing? Oh, right. Check your email, Pat.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I'm trying to hook you up.
Hey.
Say, this is not a blue man.
Nah, I can't use that one. This is my professional email, so they're gonna be like, once they see the colors, it's over. Feel like what he on?
I got you.
I'll put it on a fatty black one though.
So what's up, Dundada?
Not much, man. Been ripping and running this morning.
I hear you. I've been doing the exact opposite.
Nah, I did all that stuff yesterday.
I'm chilling hard, boy.
Now it's just the home stuff. Like I gotta do laundry myself while I'm playing around.
Yeah, man. I go to work tonight, so I've been off for like the last 3 nights, and they blew by like crazy. I'm like, damn. Did I have any time off?
No, I was telling my mom yesterday it's crazy. Like, I got up at 7 o'clock yesterday, right? And actually, both of us did. And I went back to sleep, but I was like, I got up at 7, which is when I get up for work. But I'm like, I felt like so like just refreshed. And I'm like, I guess it's because I didn't have to go anywhere. So I'm like, during the week, I'd be so sluggish. I'm like, oh man. What's up, Dendada? You got anything when it comes to like out of the box thinking for like efficiency in your field?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was thinking of it as a whole. I think I was talking to one of my friends about the having a system, as you know how like we all have credit cards and stuff like that, or ID cards for the purpose of identification.
Yeah.
So in the military, and this is the thing that this is what brought it up. In the military, we have a thing called a CAT card. So all our information is on this CAT card, and all I got to do is go into a computer system, log in, and all my information is still there. Or I go to the doctors, and my information is there. So us adopting something like that, for one, for count, and two, to eliminate the continuous process of still doing the keep on filling out all these paperwork when they already will have that information right there on your identification card. I think that's something that we should think about as we move forward and going and as we build in these nations, about eliminating, trying to figure out who is who and filling out all this paperwork. And for medical reasons, your information should be there and can only have access to certain, like the doctors can have certain access to your information for the HIPAA law, all that good stuff. So that's some of the things I was thinking about as far as thinking out of the box instead of doing the repetitive thing that we do here in the States, especially when we transfer, go from state to state. And if Africa as a whole adopt that idea, so when we travel, we don't have to fill out visas and fill out all this other stuff, But that's like further down in the future, though.
So what you would want is like a universal like data center that could be used by everybody for different things.
Yep.
I was actually talking to my mom about that because I'm trying to get. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this kind of card, debit credit card. I don't know if that rings a bell to you guys or anything.
What? That's the name of it?
Yeah, debit credit card. So like it works as both a debit and credit card. So like say you swipe as credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll take that money from your debit card and replenish itself, like replenish the credit that you just used. So and it also affects your credit score. But I went to Chase yesterday to ask for it. And I was saying to my mom, like, I don't know why this card hasn't been made. Like a card that's a debit, a credit, and a savings account card. And just all three together.
I think they already have that because I know I have it too because I have the option of picking debit or credit.
Yeah, I do too.
No, that's what my mom was saying. Like you could with your debit card, you could still use credit. I have done it with myself too. But the thing is, it actually affects your score. When you do it with your current debit card, it just doesn't do anything. It's just like whatever.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I got to talk to a customer service rep from Chase. I don't know. Because so far my old company's CFO told me about it, and my current supervisor has told me about it. So I don't know. So far I'm getting like the three heads look when I mention it. Everybody look at me like I'm stupid. So
first of all, like I'm just bugging out at the fact I don't think I've ever heard that sentence uttered before, that I was having a conversation about this stuff with my mom. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So that's a good situation for you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like that's really. I don't know. Like I guess you could say that's true. Like a lot of people, like even my sister's friends, they like are weirded out by the relationship that my mom and my sister had, like that they have with each other. I'm like, this to us that's normal. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. To us, it's normal to have these kind of relationships with our parents. Like even my dad, I could talk to him about anything pretty much. So.
OB is asking, what do you think about the Francophone and Rwanda, Ghana, and other African countries getting down with it? Anybody want to feel that? Because I'm drawing
I don't
I don't
even know
have.
what a francophone is. I'm about to Google it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
have
don't even know
no
what that
clue.
is. I don't know that myself.
But I'll find out.
From what I got from Google Translate, it's a French speaking, a summit of francophone countries. Let me see in
It's
technology.
francophone. Like, yeah, that's what I'm getting. That it's a definite. It's French speaking. A person who speaks French.
Yeah,
Is that a form of currency now? Is it called francophone?
or francophone Africa technology. Let's see. Is francophone Africa the next big tech opportunity in the continent? Fucking pop-ups, and I got ad blocker on too. So
Hmm.
these must have been coded in the site. um.
Or maybe he's actually talking about the language itself being spoken on the continent. Is that what? Is that
Oh
what he?
no. So from what this is saying, I think it's yeah. So we're correct. Like French speaking. Yeah, it's like French. Like so, I think he's talking about the French speaking um Africans, I guess, starting up businesses, tech businesses. Because I do remember how France like a couple of months ago was trying to make Africa, like majority African countries speak French and shit like that. So I guess, is that what you mean, Obi?
Break it down, brother.
Would you like to come in and talk about it with us?
Blockchain
Um,
technology. Do you have an opinion on the current effort to use blockchain technology to unify Africa's commerce? I'm gonna tell you what my main thing with blockchain technology, Eric, and I consider myself a pretty smart guy. Like I'm not a complete moron. I'm not like on Donald Trump level, but I am totally like when it comes to Bitcoin, I don't get it. Like, and I figure like the average person is probably leans more toward the moron side of things. And if I can't even figure out how to work it, I'm wondering what the average general public's perception of or how they can maneuver it as well. Like I've heard about blockchain and I've watched videos to try to understand how it works, but it's just not clicking for me. It seems to be like a huge learning curve for this. And I think that that's one of the problems when it comes to using and I'm quite sure it's not going to remain that way because I know that they're going to have to break it down in ways in which the average person can use this technology so that it doesn't seem so daunting. You know, but for me, I struggle to comprehend how Bitcoin and blockchain works. So I can only imagine what the average person, like they probably looking at that like that's Chinese arithmetic. I mean, am
Oh,
I
you
alone
know,
on this? I mean, I have no shame saying how ignorant I am. So am I alone on this? Do y'all feel the same way?
no,
Or
I
have you got
definitely
it
no.
figured
I
out?
don't get it. No. From
I
what I
mean,
gathered.
granted, I think like we should be on. We should probably take on like digital currency, anyways, like quickly,
Oh yeah, I'm
because
pretty sure that it is
because
the step in the right direction and it's going to be the future of doing transactions. I'm pretty sure of that.
yeah.
I'm just saying at this particular point, it just hasn't been made accessible to the general public in a way that I think is a way that they can digest it. Because I can't even digest it. Like I tried to get into Bitcoin and I'm like, what the fuck? Like this whole thing about mining and all this other stuff. I mean, I get it. I've heard it explained 1,000 times, but I'm just not getting it. It's not clicking in for me.
Obi, that's funny because actually I prefer using my card for everything. I hate taking out cash.
Yeah, like I remember people was you remember before, like back in the conscious community, they were so terrified of a cashless society.
Yeah.
Well, how long have we been cashless now?
We still have
Like,
the choice of it.
Like
I don't think
I
they
don't feel a sense of
understand.
terror when I go in my wallet and I pull out my card and I pay for like to get some bread or something.
They don't understand that the quote unquote cash, the physical cash, is backed by natural resources,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
even then, the physical cash can be inflated to whatever the country wants it to be. So, like, but digital currency is already like, I guess society as a whole wants it to be like that, because even like when I play like video games and stuff, like futuristic games or like movies,
Mm-hmm.
they always mention like this thing called credits or something like that, which is like digital currency,
Right.
and it's like a fast transaction too, like instant, like okay, blah blah blah, all right, boom, like quick pay, like we have now. They'll quick pay somebody that amount of credits or whatever currency they decide to call it. So,
Right.
but I think we should. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we should actually get on that. And I was actually just like popped in my head, like looking at the blockchain diagrams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably focus on also making like our own what they call intranet, which is like which is the same thing as the internet. The internet is just global.
Right.
But the intranet is what that's what they call local connections.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably start doing like start thinking about that too, like on the continent, like making like our own like internet, our own internet on the continent, like continent wide.
So yeah, so this is what goes into what I was saying about the information on your identification card within that chip. If it's controlled within the internet, you don't have to worry about it being compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Eric says
that will definitely work.
Eric says that blockchain is about a lot more than digital currency. I agree with him because actually they've been talking about applying blockchain to voting system as well.
Really?
Yeah, they were saying that was a more secure way to vote. And I forget.
Oh yeah. That makes
I forget
sense.
some country was thinking about using that. I have to go back because I had an article on it, but I can't remember it right now. But they were talking about applying the blockchain to technology to the voting system. Ronan Black says, I pay attention to blockchain technology because I want to buy stock in those companies that create the technology.
Yeah, actually, I think I bought a few. This is African one that's made. I think it's called Naru coin or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this. I don't know where he's from actually. I want to say Ghana, but I'm not sure. I think it might be Kenya. I think he actually made his own Bitcoin currency, and I bought like $10 worth. So.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to go back and put more, but I don't know if he actually. I don't know, but that's the thing. I don't know if I bought stock in it or did I just buy the actual just coins and that was it.
Oh, Odos.
Like converting my dollars into the digital coins, the new coins.
So why would we be using blockchain again? I mean,
Eric just answered it. He said exactly. It's about secure transactions.
Yeah, it's what you want, security.
And
oh,
information.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm looking. No, 'cause I was looking at it. I had to look it up real quick. I said, oh, okay, it's kind of saying the same thing that I was talking about. But yeah. Cool.
Let me do this blockchain voting system because I know I've seen this article. Just trying to figure out what country was using it. Planning on using it. I don't even know if they used it. I think they're planning on using it.
I mean, that would make sense since everybody's complaining about their votes not going through and all this weird shit. So
in actuality, someone was thinking. I was thinking about the shit that they have kind of created already. So that's kind of cool because I didn't even know about this shit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like whenever you come up with an idea, like I'm doing a search on blockchain voting, you have just complete polar opposites. Oh yes, this is going to revolutionize the voting system. Oh no, this is going to make it worse. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's this site right here. It's from Uganda. That's where the guy is from that made it. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys to look at it.
If you can't get it, like, because I know sometimes it may block the URL. Let me know if that happens.
That's good.
Oh, okay, good. Odos is in the chat room. Is Odos
I say he's on the road. I don't know if you want to risk it.
Oh, okay. Holip, do any of you know why $500 billion from African countries is paid each year to France?
Yeah, because the presidents of these countries are actually I think the presidents of these countries actually go to France, and like they live there, learn there, and then eventually just become puppets for France. So that's why it's pretty simple.
Not complicated at
It's
all.
not that complicated. Hence why when we start our nation, none of that bullshit is gonna happen. Because it's like, again, like in the conference call like that I met, like, that we was in, I was saying how, like, I don't know how all these African countries just magically just got amnesia out of nowhere. Like, everybody, they just love Europeans so much. I don't get it. So
Well, one thing I've
green.
learned that seems to cut across all cultural lines is if you pay off a certain amount of segment of any population, they're cool with
yeah,
85% or 90% of the other people who ain't paid.
I agree.
So as far as they're concerned, if we got our little circle of people and we living good, who gives a shit about the rest of the people that's dying and starving in the dirt? That seems to be a universal thing.
Right.
Davies.
Because wasn't that the case in with the Jews? Like, wasn't there a percentage of Jews who was getting paid?
Yeah, from
So
World
they
War
was like,
II.
hey, what's up?
They actually was funding it.
Handle your business, nigga.
Yeah, Davies. It doesn't matter what's legal because their legal system and most of their legal systems in Africa is based off European legal systems. So it doesn't even matter.
France will instigate a coup if they don't play ball. France is just a big pimp in Africa.
Exactly.
Are they
big pimps.
Goldie? Are they Goldie or they Pretty Tony? which ones? Eric, Holipsism is called evolution and human nature. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think that what a lot of people, like, everybody have these questions, but they be asking us for the solutions when they can actually come up with some of the solutions themselves. This is the whole purpose of the BAIO. Like, everything that we complain about is what we're trying to change when we go to build our nation. It's like, it's simple. Like, hey, you getting tired of getting beat? Hey, how about we just create something for us where we know we won't be getting beat? You tired of getting?
But our ancestors built this land, though.
Yeah, they built it.
Thank you.
Unwillingly.
Right. Hold up. Did they get any money from that?
I think when they became sharecroppers.
Dundada, you didn't know that slaves get part ownership in any structure that they build? You didn't know that?
Right. Yep.
They get stocks and all.
Yeah, they got part ownership. You can see their name on the lease. It's in the small print.
And invisible ink.
Yep. Like national treasure. Got to put some lemon over it and put it under the fire.
Oh, there it go.
See, this is what happens when you become a human talking point. You just spew talking points without even paying any attention to what, no contradictions. It's like you're just immune to it.
Like, that's why I don't like. That's why I really don't understand. Like, with the guy earlier, like he like a lot of us still think that we have we have to ask permission for white people to do anything. Like, if we want to leave, they're not going to stop us from leaving. I think that was actually a narrative too. If we all left, that they're going to stop us from doing that. And I'm like, why? like, give me a honest, actual, tangible reason to why they would do that. And then they'll say like, oh, because the money, blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't think our money alone isn't really funding all these companies like that. Honestly,
no.
So I'm like, okay, like they're not doing that. That's not a tangible reason. We do put like a good amount of money into their companies, but we're not the sole people that's doing that. So.
I was telling, I think probably one of the, and y'all know this because you've been on the last few shows, but the thing that really enlightened me and kind of was most impactful on me was when I actually dug in, when I saw the debt that Africa has to China, when I saw the actual physical
Yeah,
numbers,
that was like 2 weeks ago, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was very impactful for me. Because it just
Because
let me
we could pay
know,
that off.
yeah,
But
this is not so like people talking about, oh, the Africa is in debt to the Chinese, but look at the debts. You're talking about
Yeah.
like the average debt with the China with each country was like somewhere between $5 and $10 billion. That's what you're ringing the alarm for?
when us
And more than
here
likely,
alone
more than
make
likely, that's going right into these corrupt African leaders' pockets.
yep.
That's what,
When
because look at it, it's so small. Like, why would a nation need a $6 billion loan from another country? You can't produce that with your own nation. Your GDP is not worth more than $6 billion.
I think people think that like don't understand that billions for a nation is really nothing.
That's nothing.
Like that's
That's
really
absolutely nothing.
For an individual, yes. For a person to have that solely, yeah, that's a lot of fucking money. But for a nation, no. You should see the checks that the military pumps out for like just
How much
the
debt?
build.
Yeah, Odos made a good point. How much debt does America have to the Chinese?
A lot. A lot of fucking debt. I think like $1 trillion. So
Because that's why I say I was so beating myself up because I never do that, and I did like it. Just goes to show you that we're all infallible. That sometimes you just accept information because this sounds really good, so it hits you in a blind spot where you don't do the research on it. Because like until I saw the research on it and saw the actual debt, I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is what people is going crazy over, and it just raised more questions for me.
But
Like, why are African nations going to China to get a $5 billion loan?
But see the problem. I know why you see the problem in that, but you got to understand that it all comes down to unity. Hold on, I'm opening my bag of chips real quick. Sorry. Like it all comes down to unity. Like you can't even unite under understanding that we're African. Like that alone, like that's a debate right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is stupid. So
I think I've cut the meat. I've cut the fat off the meat so much that there shouldn't be no more fat left. Yeah. I don't know how, because like I said, the circle that I want to be in is the circle of my BAIO brothers and sisters. That's the circle that I congregate in. Those are the people that I talk to. So a lot of the noise is really outside of my circle. So all of these questions about, like, I don't get into this, why don't black folks do this and why don't black folks do that? I don't fucking care.
Me neither.
I really don't. I don't care. If you're not doing it, continue doing the shit that you're doing. All I want to do is stop fucking complaining to me. Stop complaining to me. I don't want to hear your shit. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to tell you, I can sort of understand why people get frustrated with those type of black people. Because you fight me when it comes to saying that, well, damn, the solution is to have something of our own. And go, oh, no, nigga, we can't have nothing of our own. What the fuck you talking about? And then you want to stay in America, and then when somebody talks about the 4th of July, I'm seeing your Facebook post. Oh, see, that's the reason why we can't celebrate the 4th. Nigga, are you an American or not? Would you make up your fucking mind? Are you an American or not? Because if you're an American, motherfucker, put your hand on your heart.
Where's that allegiance?
Stand your the fuck up when they play that national and shut the fuck up. It's just like that, like, and I see the contradictions is just so crazy. It's like, all right, you got black women who say, and this is not all black women, so don't think I'm attacking all black women, because you know I'm not that. You got black women who's saying it's okay to date this and that and whatever. They're into interracial dating. It's not just about dating black men, right? That's your position. That means that you're into multiculturalism. That means you're into integration. You're into this society that we have set up in America, which is an open market. So you don't have to date black men. You date anybody, right? That's your position.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you complaining that black men is marrying other races of women, and those women are benefiting from all of their riches, like these athletes and businessmen and all these rich black dudes is marrying white women. Why is that a complaint for you? Didn't you put yourself on the open market and you lost? You have to compete with white women. You got to compete with Asians. You got to compete with East Indians. You got to compete with all these other exotic women. You decided that that was what you wanted to do. You put yourself on the open market, and he chose somebody other than you. So why are you changing your philosophy now? Now, when it comes to that, you all open and you integrationists, but then when it comes to black men, now you want to be nationalists? Now he got to keep it real for the race by dating you. See, I can't take the hypocrisy, and I can't take the contradictions, and I can't take the inconsistencies in ideology. It's like a person telling me I'm pro-life, but I just love the death penalty. Then you're not fucking pro-life.
Wow. Yeah.
How do you resolve that in your mind? I would respect you more if you say, listen, I just like killing motherfuckers.
You're like the head of Vice.
I don't really give a shit about. I don't really give a shit about an unborn baby. Keep it real. Well, you know, that's my little rant. Go on. Go on.
Now, the same thing could be said vice versa too. Like, I be seeing these dudes getting upset when they be seeing like a sister with like some non-black dude. But then themselves is dating somebody that's non-black, but in their minds, right? It's mainly with these white Latinos that they try to pass off as like, oh, like they're like something other than white when they're still white. They just speak a different language. So I'll be seeing it with them, and I'm like, yo, but you know your baby mom is white, right? Like, no, she's not. She's her like. That's what I hate too, because we still, I don't know why in this day and age of 2018. We still don't know the difference between race, nationality, and ethnicity, aka culture.
Well, we don't know. So, they don't know the difference between socialism and democratic socialism. They don't know the difference between communism and fascism. It's like people ideologically and intellectually like fucking monkeys throwing feces against the fucking wall to see what sticks. You know, I don't like, why is it? I'm going to tell you one thing I never have to do. I never have to straw man your argument in order to refute it.
You see what Obi just said? He said, actually, Latinos aren't really white. They're Native American. Come to New York City and tell me. Look me in my fucking face and tell me that they're Native American, bro. Yeah, I was just talking to my mom about it. Another
pointless conversation that I have no interest in. I have zero interest in that conversation. My thing is, if there's a problem and I have other people of like mind that can see the same problem that I'm seeing and we're willing to work together, that's all I'm concerned about, man. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Whatever your feelings and your ideology is, peace be unto you. Do your own thing. Fuck it. Serious. It's like nobody, like that's the thing, and that's the thing that people constantly straw man me on all the fucking time. Oh, this nigga trying to get us to go to Africa. Motherfucker, when did I ever tell you that I wanted you to go to Africa?
Come on, man, we gotta go.
When?
Nobody does that.
I defy you. I defy any nigga, especially a nigga that's anti-Holip. I want you to put a timestamp on a video. I want you to screen capture, do whatever the fuck you got to do where Holip said he's trying to convince motherfuckers to go to Africa. You're straw manning me. I don't give a shit about you. You can stay here in America or you can go somewhere and fucking die. When did you start thinking that I give a fuck about you? I don't give a fuck about you and what you want to do. If you want to stay in a situation where you're getting your ass kicked on a continuous basis and you saying, please give me more, that's your reaction to it, then keep doing that shit. Stay out of my conversations. How about that?
This is what I've been trying to tell people, like what like even now, right? Like there's some people that I follow for some odd reason every Sunday. they make it their due diligence to just bash Christians and
Yeah,
Hebrews.
come on,
And
man.
it's like, yo,
I
like,
don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't
Like,
care. Like, what does it make you feel good to say F Jesus? Like, does that what? Does that bring you some joy? I don't care. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. Just keep that shit away from me.
I think it's like about like I think it's under the guise of quote unquote waking people up, but it's like if they're not privy to the shit that's going
They
on
not
now,
people are not interested in waking people up. People are interested in smelling their own farts
yeah.
and thinking it is roses.
Even like this whole this weave argument, like I don't know, well Holip, I know you don't know because you know you don't watch none of these talking heads, which is good. But there's this guy that's real cool with Tariq Nasheed. Right? I talked about him on the conference call. I'm not gonna say his name, but Cynthia, I think you know who Cynthia G is, right?
I've heard of her.
Yeah, so she calls in, right? 'Cause I'm in this guy's live stream, so she calls in actually trying to talk about the subject that he's talking about, right? And the whole time before he even gets her on, he's bashing her and shit. And then he actually picks up like her call, and then she's like, "Hey, okay," so she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. She wanted to talk about the subject, and then this man goes full throttle into talking about her fucking weave and shit, blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this dude is a fucking faggot. Like, is he gay or some shit? Like, I'm like, yeah, I lost complete respect for this fucking person. I'm like, I'll subscribe to all that. Even when he shows up on YouTube, I'm like, do not put this man in my recommendations. And like, I'm not interested in this channel. So, and it's like shit like that. I'm like, weave is like really like the least of our problems. Like when it comes to black women, and I'm like, honestly, if you show women that like what you like about them, they'll then cater to that.
Mm-hmm.
So she would eventually stop wearing it. But
your fellas, the troll is here.
Wait, we got one.
Cause look at the likes. I got nine dislikes popping up.
You must have just woke up.
Yeah. Troll is here.
Oh man, you need more mods in the chat, man.
Yo, who wants to be a mod? Militant, Black.
Anybody that got a BAIO logo, give them the mod status.
Militant, give me a thumbs up if you want to be a mod. If you're interested in being a mod, I will make you a mod right now. I don't care. Really, I don't care about this. Oh, okay. Let me make her a moderator.
Anybody that got the logo.
You are going to wield the Infinity Gauntlet in this chat.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I don't think that when we look at it, I think like I said, we focus on a lot of the dumb shit.
Lot of it.
Like we say, what does her wearing a weave going to stop us from building the nation? You know, like her weave is actually going to stop us from building the nation. Like really?
Yeah.
Or like that don't even make sense.
Did you see
like,
that?
Hey,
did you see that story, Dendada, where they I think somebody had posted it in the BAIO group where I think it was Uganda. Hair? Was it Uganda? Or was it wait, let me go and see if I can find it. Hold on.
Wait, Eric, do you still want to come in? Because I remember he was saying that he wanted to put his 2 cents in on one of the topics.
Hold on 1 second.
Eric, let us know so Holip can send you the link. Well, provide him with your email so he can then send you the link.
I got Eric's email.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
actually, Eric. Oh, damn. Hold on. I had a question because Eric, I work with Eric, so I know.
Oh, okay, cool.
I got him. I was asking him about something that we're doing offline.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to find this.
I think it's in the BAIO group.
Nah, Avery, it's not like that, bro.
I think Bell posted it.
Yeah, I found a more in-depth article. I found a more in-depth article. Hold on. Initially, hold on.
Yeah, while are you trying to figure it out, I'm gonna just talk a little bit more on it.
Go ahead.
What we're trying to build is something safe for everybody to not even worry about all of the bullshit that we worry about right now. Like I got to think about why I can't wear dreads.
Hello?
A unity. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Dundada, you cut out. My bad.
Yeah, it went out.
Oh,
everything went silent for a second. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, I wear my locks at work.
Oh, and what did you say, Dundada? Because I kind of missed part of that.
Oh, I was saying that that what we're trying to create is an environment where everybody don't have to worry about the color of their skin, what color hair they have, or what kind of hair they have, or what they rocking and stuff like that. You know, this is some of the stuff that kind of distracts us from actually moving forward, like religion and all this political stuff and. Oh, I don't like you because you went to this school and stuff like that. That shit really doesn't make sense, man.
You know what's crazy?
I never understood that either.
You know what's crazy? Even if it was a zombie apocalypse, people would still find a way to divide themselves. It doesn't matter. It's like even in extreme circumstances, it seems like people just don't have the ability to see the big picture, and those are the people that like this, like in those movies, like they're the ones who's being contrarian, and then the next thing you know, they're on the side of the road with their head busted open. I'm sorry, I should have listened to you. Now you're dead. So what fucking difference does it make? Like I said, Darwin in effect. Some people just need to be out of here.
Yo, I've been thinking about that too, man.
You're not contributing to humanity. You're not contributing to the grander discussion. You're just here as an annoyance to everybody. So then get out of here.
That's what I've been saying, man. I'm like, they might call me
like
I kind of equate fascist or something, but it's a lot of people got to get out of here, honestly.
I equate those people to, like, you ever seen like a post where it's something like positive and something good for people to actually benefit from? There's always someone that has they always thumb down the button. They don't like the article, or they don't like what technology came out to help people. Like those people like that. Those are those people, man. He's like, I don't care how positive this shit could be. There's always gonna be somebody that's not gonna like the shit. I want to live. I don't want to live.
You know how you can tell?
Because I don't want to live.
You know how
it's the internet. The internet early on was pretty toxic. It's not as toxic as it was when it first really was popping.
You know how you can tell when you're dealing with an honest player in any discussion, and I keep pointing back to this, when the person doesn't have to straw man your position in order to combat it or confront it. Just understand what it is that I'm saying in the way that I'm saying it, and then refute it. Then we're having a discussion. We're having an honest discussion. Because then I consider that a genuine disagreement. But when you straw man an argument in order to combat it, then that means you have no fucking counter to it.
Right.
And one of the things that piss people off that I always ask for is give me a source of your information. If you can't just come and say, don't Jesse Lee Peterson me. Well, Obama tried to kill black folks. Okay, can you give me an example of that? Are you just saying it and I'm supposed to accept it as a fact because that's what you said?
I mean, he didn't try to kill.
Don't just throw out shit, inflammatory shit. Back up what you say.
But that's too hard for people to do, man. You know what I'm noticing too? Like, I'm really noticing how like you could easily be ganged up on by dumb people, even though you're right. And then all the dumb people make you kind of like second guess, like, am I the one that's stupid? But it's like, nah.
That's what they call gaslighting. I believe. Yeah.
It's like, wait, am I?
Yeah, they gaslight you. Like to the point where you start thinking, well, damn, what's wrong with me? That's gaslighting. Classic.
Maybe I should have my own nation. Maybe they right.
Yeah, why am I trying to fight?
Speaking of,
you get crickets on that too when you ask that question.
I know it's kind of like a little bit off the subject of what we were just talking about, but some of the stuff that you posted in the STEM
Hmm.
about the technology, about the roadways, about the plastic roadway.
Right.
What are your
That's
thoughts on
safe.
that? Yeah, it's actually been tested and it's pretty neat, man.
I'm
What are your
like,
thoughts on
shit.
that?
I like it. I mean, I like the fact. My whole thing is I just want to know what the costs are. Like, how is it compared to what traditional roads are? And I heard, well, they're saying that they last longer.
Right.
How
Yeah,
you
but
can't go wrong with that. Like, if it lasts longer, it's more efficient and it costs less. That's a
right.
no brainer to me because it's
And they're
actually
using
been held up to
recyclable
testing.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, you
So
mean like for like a highway or like just like the pavement, like a
yeah,
regular road?
highways and
Highway,
roadways. Yep.
highway and
Like
roadway.
so not the gravel that they use, like the what they call it, whatever the fuck that the black shit, the tar and shit. Not that, but the actual structures that hold that up.
Well,
No, it's.
from
I
what
think
I
it's
read,
mixed in,
it's
right?
it's a mixture. It's an admixture of aggregate and plastic and stuff like that. So and
So
they
all
have
right, so we're not about to have Hot Wheels highways then. Okay,
Right.
that was my biggest concern. I'm like, whoa, I don't know
no,
about
because
that.
that would But you got to think about the region that you're going to be in. Would it be good for where the area we're going to be at? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's all about location. So, and you don't have to dig as deep as you would have to do in a traditional roadway, because most of the time you have to dig some to get a solid base in order for you to build up. So, yeah.
Question: is there anybody in the group that deals in like refinement? Because a lot of these things that we're going to use to build, we're going to need people to refine that as well, unless we want to get it from like neighboring countries. But I don't even think a lot of African countries really have refineries like that when it
That would
comes to
be
resources.
that would be interesting to know if there are people that's into that in the group.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do have refinements in there, though. It's just of extracting it. That's the biggest problem that Africa have, and this is why you
That
have
too, we
these
got to
great.
make that safe
You
because
got
the way
yeah,
they got them right now in the Congo is ridiculous.
Speaking of roadways, I want to ask you because I've done some research into the solar roadways. I think it's
right.
junk science.
What's that?
It doesn't sound. First of all, it's costs way too much to do, and it doesn't seem efficient.
Yeah,
Just
that
based
I
on what
was
I've
looking
heard,
at
like just seeing the people who have talked about it and who've actually studied it.
But what is it?
the
Solar
maintenance on it would be
roadways.
too high.
Yeah, it's like solar panels in the roadway itself.
Oh yeah, that's going to be too expensive to even do. Maybe once we like get it going for a while, if we're depending on how our GDP is, then yeah.
I
But
think it would be cool. Like, let's say within your city, you had one block of it, just for
yeah,
like, just for like shits and giggles.
could make it. We could. Oh, you know what we could do? We could make it a busway. I have an electrical bus or something like
Yeah,
that.
but it doesn't seem like a very efficient way to gather solar energy to me.
You know what? I was thinking as thinking out of the box as far as when we build the infrastructure in the designs, the actual um, the area that the living areas, not
Hmm.
the industrial areas, should have less traffic and a little bit more like bikes and like kind of like a monorail
Bikeway.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
that's what they're trying to do. Like in I can only speak for New York City. I think that's what they're trying to go towards. Is that as more people like using bikes? Cause I think, but I don't know. Cause I think the city bikes. You could correct me if I'm wrong, Holip. I think they shutting down the city bike initiative. If I'm not mistaken.
I haven't heard that,
Because I think it
but I
wasn't
can
cost
believe it.
effective or something like that, or they wasn't making enough money from it.
Oh, you talking about that Citibank
Yeah,
biking? Oh, well, yeah, I
yeah,
think they
that,
are
yeah.
taking. Yeah, I
So,
think they are cutting that down.
so it's like, so they made that lasted for a while, like almost a decade. So,
Really, it's been around that long?
yeah, it started when I was going into high school in
Yeah,
2008.
you're right.
So, yeah,
well, I was thinking more of like keeping a low carbon footprint in the environment versus having heavy traffic, and that lessens the maintenance that you have to do on the road itself too. So if you're having people walking and you have a monorail system in place of cars everywhere, you don't have to worry about that in the future. So the maintenance wouldn't be as high as you would have here, because everywhere you go now, everybody has a car. Like, and then
that's
you see
another
where
thing.
it starts.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another thing that annoys me. I got a big problem with Metro cards.
Oh, that's actually another thing too I could talk about. Another bank actually tried to eliminate the MetroCard, and because I used to go to school on middle school on 77th or 76 on the east side. I went to Wagner, and for some odd reason, this bank I really can't fucking remember the name of the bank. I think it was either a credit card company. I think it was a credit card company. I think it was MasterCard or something. So they made this thing, Holip. Like, this is like back in 2007, 2008, right? They made this thing where one turnstile was like a tap and go kind of situation. So you would just use your credit card, like you would tap your credit card on the RFC panel,
right,
and then just go through the turnstile. So you don't even got to worry about a credit card, a Metro card at all. You just go in, tap.
So basically, boom. Like the Easy Pass, except for pedestrians.
Yeah,
because it just seems to me, it just seems to be like that's another thing that we keep doing that just seems ridiculous. Like you have wasteful. A bus. And you got to wait for everybody to get online and swipe their card through that goddamn. Like, just get on the fucking bus.
Right.
Get on it and go. It's like, it just seems like to be a tremendous waste of time to me. That's like one of my pet peeves. I hate that.
Well, we got something similar too. Like, we got the Select bus. You can say the Select bus is kind of like that because you have to you still use your Metro card, but you get a ticket. So when the bus comes, you just hop on.
Yeah, I guess that's a little better, but you still got to go and get the ticket by using your Metro card. So it's sort of like swiping your thing through the turnstile.
Yeah, because it's still
actually one more step.
Yeah.
You know? But it just seems to be I don't know. It just seems very I think that one of the this is my position is that the Republicans always talk about taxes, and they act like that's the big BAIO. Like nobody likes taxes. That's not true. It's not that people don't like taxes. They just want to know that their taxes are going to a place that benefits them. That's all. Because if you were paying taxes and your health care was being taken care of, and you were able to have your basic needs met in a society, you wouldn't give a shit about taxes. But you tend to get pissed off when your taxes, when you're broke and you ain't got no money and you're paying taxes, and yet your country is going to war overseas, fighting with some other people they ain't got nothing to do with. Like what is the North Korean threat to America?
Absolutely nothing.
But yet that's a docket on the table that you got to be spending resources on, and yet you got people right here in Flint, Michigan.
Korea.
You got people right here in Flint, Michigan.
You gotta have some people to think about stuff that's going on that they think is more of a threat than themselves being it's under a threat within the state itself.
Mm-hmm.
And, mind you, the whole Flint, Michigan crisis could have been solved with black money once again. This is all a matter of just us not, as a collective, not caring much. I really think, like, I'll be telling my mom, like, I really think, like, a clear cut attack by a high level executive broadcasted on live TV across the world, then I think we would get it. Like, we would finally understand, like, yo, we really don't have any friends. Nobody gives a shit about us. But I don't know.
Obi is asking a question. Obi's asking a question, and after I give you his question, I want to ask you another question because it just made me think of something. He says, I'm very far left, so I think the public transportation should be free as long as everyone is doing their fair share. And I agree with him. My only question is, should we change that wording? Because I've seen that people have a problem with the word free. It's not really free, it's government subsidized.
Right.
So do you think we should say free or government subsidized when we refer to these programs?
I would just, you're talking about the public system, right?
Yeah. Or anything. Like when anything that comes like where you're taxed and your tax dollars pay for this service that you can use and you don't have to have a bill.
Yeah, that's just public.
We just call it public transportation as what it's called. Yeah.
Don't wrap around.
Okay, I was just curious. I
get what you mean with that.
It's nothing free though. Nothing is free because everybody pays taxes, whether they like it or not. They are funding, the military. They are funding every loan or aid to Israel. They are funding people that's working in the transportation. You know what I'm saying? It's a give me. But like I said, people monetize over it. They making extra money over it, even though you are being taxed. So now that's what I wouldn't agree with. Like, you still paying more money after you don't pay taxes to cover that cost. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because that's double dipping.
I agree.
Then how do we want this public transportation to be? Do we want it to be like somebody's like manning the vehicles, or do we want it to just be completely computer based?
No.
It's never going to be completely computer based.
Yeah. So we just have like a program set with a path, and it just follows that path.
Right. Yeah.
So that's another thing too, because then if you want actual people to pilot these vehicles, all that money is going to them, so they can get an incentive to do that. So
here, look at the public transportation like this. How it effectively can work. You go. How many people went to Orlando, Florida, or Disney World? I mean,
I always wanted
Magic Kingdom, whatever. But they have, once you get inside of their compound, you don't pay for the transportation in there because it's already paid for. You get on the monorail, you go from point A to point B, or you get on the little cart and you ride the trolley to go to your car, whatever. That's like, because they control the transportation in there. Anything outside of that, like your vehicles and stuff, you pay for that stuff yourself. But once you're inside, why should you have to pay again to get on the monorail to go across the amusement park? You know what I'm saying? So within Afrikan, I mean, once you're a member, or once you stay within that grid, or whatever we control, like, you shouldn't have to pay more. You just get on there and just keep rocking. Go to your next destination.
Well, like my mom, like her company, like her job's company. Well, yeah. That sounded redundant. I'm sorry. Like what they do with their workers, actually, she gets a monthly unlimited, right? And it's taken out of her check. Like, she doesn't even notice it, pretty much. And it comes out of her check every month, and they send her like the monthly card on time.
I would go for that, man. I would go for, because if I'm already paying, I know that I have a particular budget that I'm paying per month. Like, if I get a Metro card, I always get a monthly Metro card. So that way, I don't have to think about trying to come up with change to get on the bus and the train. I just swipe my shit and I go in. But it would be a whole lot easier if that was a tax. Like, let's say that amount that I paid every month was a tax. What difference does it make? I'm still paying it. Whether it's a tax, you can call it a tax, or you can call it out of my pocket. Yeah. I would much rather just give it to a system that would make things easier for me.
Shit, like my bus line already pretty much do that. Like, cause I'm on the BX5, and that bus gets packed fucking quickly, to the point that the bus drivers just open up the doors and people just get on anyways without even paying. So
yeah, it's like, it just seems extremely stupid to me. Like, you have these people that live and walk and work in this area, take the same path every day, and yet we're going through this antiquated way of doing things. It just doesn't seem, I just challenge that, man. I think that we can make that a lot more easier. And just the whole concept, because my thing is, all right, since we don't want to challenge your ability to have a penthouse apartment, we don't want to challenge your ability to have a yacht, we could care less. The average poor person could care less about that. You can have a penthouse apartment, you can have a yacht, you can have all of the accessories of wealth. Why can't we have something where we could just get on the fucking bus and train and just rock?
Right.
Is that taken away from your yacht?
No, but
it's like anything that benefits the public.
A little smaller yacht now.
Anything that benefits the public and benefits the average person, working person's life in a positive way seems to be like saying a curse word.
Yeah.
Nobody even thinks about it. Like, oh, damn, what are you talking about?
And that just goes to like it's it kind of, I don't know. I just keep thinking about it, like why do you complain about stuff that you can control, like we are trying to help us control, like,
Right.
man, this millionaire, he got this nice yacht and you just sitting on the sideline the shore looking at this yacht, and they up there partying, having $1 million steaks and filet mignon and stuff like that, but yet they're still squeezing money out of you to ride the public transportation. Where,
Right.
if you get on the ferry, you got to pay money to get on the ferry, and all y'all packed in the ferry.
Right.
So come on, like, I just don't get it, man.
I think that there should be subsidies for working people. I think you
Yeah.
should be in a society where you are subsidized if you work, because if you work, you're putting in 40 hours or more a week, you're a productive member of society. So why are you
Right.
getting taxed and everybody's living off of you? How can I make it a society where you actually get some benefits from working? Subsidy, because
Yeah.
they say whatever you subsidize, you get more of. But see, that's all a question of people's value system. You know, what's the value of your nation? What's the value system of your country? And if you look at the United States of America and you look at that big ass pie and you see that little sliver dedicated to education, you sort of understand what the values of your country is. And you see this big ass big daddy slice going to the military, then
They
that's where
even
your values are.
they even have a term in the military called a blank check, meaning they could buy whatever the fuck they want and without consequences of money. So,
Man, hey, look, the military. Look, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's been a few things that came out of that, like those blank checks. People got
no,
caught too.
I bet.
I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars. Like, they's like, wait a minute, how the hell? Where did this $20 million go? After they settled down, but before it was just a blank check. But then they wanted accountable for that money. So that's why when we do shit, we're gonna be transparent in everything that we do. So we ain't trying to figure out where that $200 million hammer went.
Putting in all in a ledger.
Right. It's just crazy.
And you know what's so funny? It's like, that's the thing about Donald Trump, is that he knows how to tap into sentiment that's common and exploit it. You know what I'm saying? Because right now you got the media crying like babies because he's using the term fake news. And it's resonating.
I thought that term so funny.
It is. It's funny. But you notice he speaks like a 5-year-old, because that's what most of his base understands. They understand fake news. It doesn't require much nuance of thinking. It's very simple. Fake news. Oh, the news is fake. It's real simple. It's almost ingenious if you really think about it. Everything that he does, build a wall, fake news, like everything is in these little short, concise sound bites that people can relate to. When you start getting too technical, you lose people. It's like when you start getting too technical, it's like that movie when the architect came in on Matrix 2.
Oh yeah, that character was.
Remember, everybody was rocking with the Matrix until the architect came in, and then they just went, "Oh shit, I'm in school now. I came here to be entertained. What the fuck is going on?"
The architect was he was one of the people that knew, like, he knew about the Matrix, but he just decided to just stay in, right?
He was the architect of it. He was there watching the program and seeing Neo go through the same goddamn thing over and over again.
Oh, that guy, yeah. Well, not Neo.
Concurrently, it's like once he said concurrently, I'm like, oh shit, he lost.
But see, a lot of people, like, that's actually a theory too about the Matrix and Neo not being the one, but they explain that in the end of the second movie that he's not the first person to do that,
right?
At all,
right?
But
like he said, we've destroyed Zion
multiple times,
6 times
before
you, because you kept making the same decision and it led to the same result. So that's why at the end he just changed what he normally did before. He went the opposite way. He had to do something different and go through the other door. But that first movie was really good. You
The
know,
first
it
one
started
over
going
a
off.
lot of people's heads.
Yeah, it
Honestly.
started going off the rails really. The second one, I to be honest with you, I liked all of them, but I kind of understand the quality kind of went down in each one. It wasn't as great as the first one. The first one was really good. But
Because they was focused more on the entertainment part.
The thing about the Matrix that I like is the fact that it played with the normal perceptions of society. Like, in other words, Neo, if you took Neo out of the Matrix and put him in society, would be Osama bin Laden. Like, he would be that, you know what I'm saying? He would be the most evil person. He would be a total terrorist.
Hey, he was an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because the thing too
in the movie, he's the hero. The guy who actually turned them in to the agents, that guy represents the 85% of the public. Think about it. He said, listen, I know this steak ain't real. But if I put it in my mouth, it tastes juicy or whatever. He said, and what I've determined in all this time, ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
That guy represents
this movie went over so many people's heads.
85% of the population if you take him outside of the movie. But when you put him in the movie, he becomes the bad guy. So what made me like the movie is that you're going against your art. Like, you're taking these archetypes that you are fundamentally against and cheering for them. And the one that you should be booing, you're cheering. And the one you should be cheering, you're booing. I just found that interesting, the way that they did that.
It's funny because it shows about the collective and the individual. Everybody in Zion was about the collective, but that particular guy, I forgot his name in the movie, but he was on the individual level. He's like, yo, fuck everybody else. He even went as far as killing majority of the crew members.
Yeah, he was like, because, and the reason why is because he was promised that he would forget everything. He said, I don't want to remember. I remember the line. He said, I don't remember nothing. Nothing. Yeah. He repeated it again. It's like, I don't remember anything. So that way, when he was doing his stuff, he figured, well, I'm not going to remember killing you anyway, so what difference does it make?
And he
now, Black Buddha, you should definitely watch them. Like the first one.
Please. Watch the first one.
The first one is OD.
Right. If you don't watch any of them, at least watch the first one. You're going to love it, Black Buddha. I promise you that. Eric asks, do you have any thoughts on how to work around the vagaries of human nature and how it affects politics? This would be an issue when starting any nation. Well, does anybody else want to handle that before I jump in?
No, you go ahead. I'll feed off you.
Can you repeat the question?
Do you have any thoughts on how to work around the vagaries of human nature and how it affects politics? This would be an issue when starting any nation.
Well, I don't even know.
Well, let me jump on it because I think the presupposition that I see in that is that it's a conflict, and I don't see it as a conflict. I think that your politics should be based on your human nature. I don't think it's politics and human nature and how we're gonna. Your politics and your human nature should be intertwined. Now the question is.
Hence why you choose your parties.
Because right. The question is, this is the important part, because this is the thing about the point that I was making about democracy. Yes, as a principle, democracy is great. The problem is, how can you have democracy when everybody in your society is ignorant as fuck? If everybody in your society is uneducated, then how's democracy working for you? Democracy is getting your ass Donald Trump, or probably getting you Stormy Daniels as your next president. That's what democracy might have Flavor Flav up in there if he happens to hit on a trend that's popular.
Yeah, boy.
So my thing is always the context. What is the context that you want to create to get the results that you want? That's where we should be concentrating on. And that's in any nation, in any society. It's not just in an African nation or a newly fledged nation. That's in every nation. What's the context that you want to create to get the results that you want to produce?
Well, I would think to be like in our nation to be that we would probably run like a council kind of system. So it's not like one just head, like figurehead. It'll be like a council of high level
I think
lawmakers.
I think that and I don't even know how this would look, so just bear with me because I'm just freestyling here. Um, I think that how can I put this? I don't know how this would look, but I think I'm just philosophically giving you where I think intelligent people who run a society what they should do. When somebody asks you, "What is are you a conservative? Are you a Republican? Are you a whatever on a specific issue?" Then that would change depending upon the issue, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because aren't there some things that you're conservative on, and then if you go to another issue, you're liberal?
Yep.
So I look at that as like your government structure is sort of like a toolbox. So when you have certain issues or things that arise in your nation, you go into that toolbox to get the tool that fits the job, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you adapt to the
Like,
situation.
there's no one size fits all. That's why when people say I'm conservative, well, what does that mean? You're conservative on everything? Everything you're conservative? Like when you define yourself as that, then it's first of all, I don't think it's accurate. Because there's some things that you can be completely like conservative on, and then there's other things you can be completely liberal on. Certain things you could be libertarian on.
Yep.
Like me, my whole thing is if I had to describe myself like politically what I lean toward, I think that I probably lean heavily libertarian. But it's so I can't really say that I'm a libertarian. I can't really say and who I am as a conservative would change depending upon where I'm at. If I'm in America, hell no, I ain't a conservative.
In
But if I'm in
African,
if
hell
I'm in my
yeah.
own nation, then I could miraculously I become a conservative. So
That's actually
it depends on the context.
like I made a comment yesterday. I'm like, it's funny with those like I said earlier with those all those black conservatives. I'm like, there's nothing to conserve here. So
Amos
they
Wilson said it best. He said, "What does a black conservative conserve?"
crickets.
Yeah, what do you conserve? You don't have any power. So you can only be conserving the system that you are living, the system that you living under.
You like getting your brains beat out. I gotta conserve that.
And that's what people need to understand. It's like if I was in my own nation, I would be a conservative.
Right.
I think majority of us in the BAIO would be a conservative instantly.
Yeah, I would be a conservative because I would want to conserve our nation. I would want to protect our nation. I want to make sure our nation doesn't go into the shithole. So yeah, I'd be a conservative. And a lot of times you gotta base it, even how you define yourself is based on the context. Because in America, you might be a liberal, and then you go international, you might be a moderate. Because you might not want there's a policy, I believe it's in Switzerland. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the data man. I believe it's Switzerland or one of them the Scandinavian regions. They came up with a policy that if they was to institute this in America, conservative heads would explode. Like you remember that movie Scanners?
I think so. I think I seen
They
it before.
decided that it was cheaper rather than than coming up with social programs to help people that weren't working and whatever, blah, blah, blah. They gave a stipend. They paid you for not working. Can you try introducing that concept here in this country and see what happens?
Yeah.
Because it came out cheaper. They weighed the cost. They said this person not working, for us to create this social program is costing us X amount of dollars to give them food stamps, and we might as well just give them a check, and we end up saving money.
Yeah.
Actually, it's pretty smart because when you give somebody a check, what do they do with it?
Spend it.
Right. So you're getting it back anyway. You're getting it back anyway because when the person buys something, they paying taxes. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting the money back, even though you're giving the money to them. But that's proactive thinking, it's intelligent thinking, and that's one reason why it will never happen in America, because you have 80% of the people who want Medicare for all. And this goes to show you, this gets back to the intelligent point. I think Eric has said it. What did he said? I've seen him say something about he said, I agree that education is the most critical aspect of a free society. We can see the results of not prioritizing it here in the US. And that's the point that I was going to make. Donald Trump at a rally, I saw this on TV and I had to take a back step because my brain couldn't comprehend how stupid it was. He said the Democrats want to take away health care from seniors by introducing Medicare for all. I'm like, what did I just hear? Isn't it called Medicare for all? So then how did you take away the Medicare from seniors by instituting a Medicare for all system? And was there any blowback in the media? Was there any correcting or fact checking of Donald Trump? Nope. Just put it on. Just go. Just go. Just say whatever you want to go. We just recording. I'm just here to just hold
I guess the seniors had a special service, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
they must have had a benefit for him to even for whoever wrote, because I don't even know. Does he even have a speechwriter, or does he just go up and just freeball?
Oh, Donald Trump ain't got no speechwriters. Like you can tell when he's reading off a prompter. Like what I think they made him read off a prompter after that shooting or the pipe bombing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But once he gets on his rallies, that's just him freestyling. That's why him and Kanye get along so well.
They just say shit.
Because that's what Kanye does. Everybody, you know what I find really funny? Everybody's trying to sit back and try to make sense out of what Kanye West is saying when he don't even know what the fuck he's saying. But yeah, you trying to make, he's really good. I'm like, dude, this dude is freestyling. I've been into hip hop all of my life. I know when a dude is freestyling. Don't try to make sense out of it. He's just coming off the top. That's why, like that whole thing about Larry Hoover, that was straight off the top of his head.
I think he honestly just said that just to save face. But
Larry Hoover? Really? What about Big Meech? Big Meech should be upset.
This man is getting out of control now. But
Big Meech said, "Damn, I was in the song too. Why don't you even mention me?" Damn, these niggas is.
But these people, he really has a lot of stands. Like a lot of not stands. Like that, whatever he does or do can't go
I remember
on.
a line from you know what? I'm gonna find this line. Go ahead, y'all can talk. I'm gonna find this line in the meantime.
All right. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Cause we've just been going in. Let's see. Oh, Obi. I remember seeing you talking about the tactical training. I don't know if you're still here with the gun clubs. A lot of the gun clubs do a little bit of tactical training. There's actually one dude, I forgot his name. He actually has a whole compound where he teaches like young black kids and teenagers and adults some tactical skills. And I think he was actually in the military himself. I can't remember his name, but I know he was on the news because they were trying to make him seem like, these black identity extremist people. They were trying to like pin that on him. So because he actually got arrested for having that compound. So let's see.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I think most people are afraid of change from here, from the States. It's just that unknown when you're dealing with this concept that we're dealing with. But they shouldn't have to worry about that, because as long as they stick to the principle, you're always going to make changes to make adjustments to what we're doing. But as long as we stick to the principles, you never forget the principles. You stick to the principles, but you adjust and adapt to the situation that we have going on. So That's what most people don't understand, that when you do make changes, but you don't change it compromising your principles. You know what I'm saying?
The principles should be what you base your
exactly
on. Oh,
Exactly.
I found it, y'all. This is it. This is from Immortal Technique. I didn't want to misquote this because it was so cool. It's from a song called Industrial Revolution. And he says, technique chemically unstable set to explode, foretold by the Dead Sea Scrolls written in code. So if your message ain't shit, fuck the record you sold. Because if you go platinum, it's got nothing to do with luck. It just means that 1 million people are stupid as fuck. And I think that falls in line with what we're saying. It's like, to have a lot of people following you really doesn't require much intelligence. You just got to appeal to the lowest common, nature of people, and they'll flock along.
Just be
I mean,
funny.
Donald Trump is the perfect example.
That goes to like those memes that people put up. It's like 5 or 6 words, and everybody post that as if it's real without even fact checking it. It's like it can say some dumb shit, and I'm like, do y'all even really think about this shit that y'all post?
And the funny part about it is they have people placing images of people who ain't had nothing to do with the quote.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, because it's this image, I'm gonna take the words and place it with this image that I respect. You see what I'm saying? And it's like it's good. It's good. No, it's not. It's wrong.
I think the funniest thing right now when it comes to memes is one of these IG talking heads for like consciousness, quote unquote. They like replacing Marcus Garvey. You know the infamous Marcus Garvey picture when he's like in I think the Cadillac or something like that, with his outfit on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That they're photoshopping and putting their faces in place of Marcus Garvey. Trying to say like they're taking his place or some shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of this. Now you get a little ahead of yourself now.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
it's just crazy. Yeah,
you're bugging now. Luckily, the African censor people, they like no, like what are you doing? Cause I think Umar Johnson tried to do it too, and he was like, "All right, we've been giving you a lot of passes on a lot of things, but this no. Now you're kind of ODing."
Well, I mean, is it really that shocking? We can't get like even African leaders are following the same thing.
Yeah.
See the dude in Kenya I posted up where he's got a picture of himself surrounded by, he's like swallowed up in money, and you see his face with him smiling, popping out of the money. In the meantime, what's the life of the people in Kenya?
right.
I don't get with this, you're rich by association bullshit. If I'm doing good, you doing good. No, nigga, that means you doing good. That ain't got shit to do with me.
Right, exactly. But here's something to think about though. I want everybody to stop and think about this.
Oh shit, Bell is in here?
Yeah, Bell's in here.
Check this out. So
yeah, sorry,
everybody
Bell,
knows.
come on Wednesday.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody knows about the lottery, right?
Yeah.
What was the 1.6 billion, right?
Oh, the one
This goes.
Did somebody win it?
Yeah, someone in South Carolina won that.
South Carolina,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but to think about this though, everybody wants to put money towards something that there's a 1 in 500 million possibilities of them making, instead of saying, you know what, I think I can contribute X amount of money to building my own shit, so where I know I can get something in return. Because if you put $20, $50, or $100 towards an idea of you getting this money versus an idea of putting your money towards something you know you're going to get something in return, like that is so far fetched for some people, like especially I can say especially, but Black people that we're trying to get to understand. Hey, this is like, hey, you're gambling on something that there's a possibility that you're not going to get anything. $1.6 million sounds good, but $1.6 million sounds good to actually build your nation. Take that cut.
But you know what?
Into something
I think the problem is, Dundada, I don't think I really, honestly, and I'm saying this sincerely, I don't think it's the people. I really don't. I don't think that the infrastructure has been put in place for them to do it. It just doesn't exist. It's like, that's why if we don't do it, it's not going to get done. We have a lot of people that's involved in the finance industry and the BAIO. What they need to do is meet with each other, try to knock out a way our system to institute this thing, and then I believe the people will support it.
I would agree.
Put the infrastructure in place to say, hey, this is where your $20 is going to go, and this is what it's going to be doing. I believe people. I believe the people will support it, and I point to the Black Panther as my example. Black folks and it turned that shit into $1 billion franchise
in a week.
$1 billion franchise.
Yeah,
they supported it. Black creative people was behind it. You can say Marvel owns the IP. Of course they do. I mean, to me that's like a non-argument. Of course they own the IP. We know that. But the bottom line was the producer behind it was black, and the creative team was black, and the cast was black.
The writer.
Right.
You know what was the funniest thing about that when people were seeing the wages they was getting for the roles? I don't think people understand that the actor can choose. There's two ways of them getting paid. So they can get paid like a lump sum, straight out, or they can get paid.
I don't even count that. I'm not even going to count that. What I'm going to say is this: I'm a Marvel fan and I'm a Black Panther fan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed in a million years that movie would make $1 billion and outsell Titanic. If somebody would have asked me, would that have happened? I would have said, "There's no way in fucking hell." I predicted that the Black Panther would pull in around
like 100 mil.
Doctor Strange, Ant-Man numbers, maybe $500 million. That's what I was thinking. Like it made 400 million to $500 million. And I was talking about both domestically and internationally. That shit beat out fucking Titanic. So don't go back now when they made the movie and then start comparing their salaries to $1 billion franchise, because nobody knew that it was going to be $1 billion franchise.
Yeah,
no, but that's what I was getting to, because I'm like, I think they probably chose, because there's two ways of getting paid as an actor, as far as I remember.
Usually they get a lump sum, like, and especially like in a Black Panther case, like when that movie went down, I'm quite sure nobody, even Kevin Feige said, "Yeah, we going on the strength for Marvel," but I mean, it doesn't mean that just because Marvel's name is behind it, that it's going to make $1 billion.
No,
I mean, it can make 600, it can make 500. I mean, that's pretty much. Anything less than 5 or 400 million for Marvel I would consider a failing movie. But if you can make 400 to 5, then you've made your profit and whatever. You had a successful movie. Plus, we ain't even talking about when the movie goes to Blu-ray and all the merchandising and shit.
Right. Streaming, the toys.
But nobody, I could have never, and I would never get on here and lie and pretend like I knew that Black Panther was going to be a part of the fucking discourse now. Like that's a part of the common language here in America is you can hear vibranium and Wakanda and T'Challa. No, there's no way in hell. No way. Even when me and Neo was talking about when the Black Panther came out, we didn't predict that. We just said that Black people would get a chance to see a technologically advanced nation, and maybe that would make them understand the concept of nationhood.
Yeah.
Right.
But nobody could have guessed, even Marvel, that movie was going to make $1 billion. Nobody. So, yeah, those contracts are going to be renegotiated. Oh, let me give you another example. When the first Iron Man came out, Robert Downey Jr. was a pariah in Hollywood. Do you know that?
Yeah.
If you look at his history, he was basically the bad boy of Hollywood. He was on some Sean Penn shit. This dude was getting arrested, doing coke, drugs, all that shit. So like people was like, I ain't fucking with that dude in my production. But he had a friend, the guy who did the first Iron Man, what's his name? I think he's on the Star Wars movie. He plays his Happy in the his butler or whatever, his right-hand man. I don't know what his real name is, but y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Tony Stark's right-hand man.
You mean his best friend?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rhodey. Oh, Terrence.
No, not the black dude. The guy who plays his servant. The guy who drives.
Oh damn! Holy shit! I forgot.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. John Favreau. John Favreau went to bat for him, right? Because he did the
Mhm.
first Iron Man. And people don't know this. Terrence Howard got paid more than Robert Downey Jr., even though Robert Downey Jr. was the star of the movie.
Yeah, it was one of those gambles.
And then the
Yeah.
next movie, which why he wasn't in Iron Man 2 and 3 in the current all throughout, is because I think
Because Terrence Howard had a stupid fucking agent. That's why.
yeah. So he wanted
Because
Robbie
if I was
Downey
his
Jr.
agent-
to vouch for him as well.
If I
and
was
it's
his
like,
agent, he can't blame Robert Downey Jr. Fuck that. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know
bro.
how he can even fix his mouth because he's the star. He killed the role and became a superstar after
Yeah.
that. So, but the thing was, Terrence Howard could have stayed with the franchise, except he was like, "Well, y'all paid me this in the first one. Like, listen, nigga, shut the fuck up, take the cut, and get your money on the back end."
Right.
So on paper, it looks like the star is getting the big salary. You can still get your money, but get it on the back end. His agent tried to strong arm Marvel, and Marvel said, "Well, fuck you. You wasn't
Yeah,
that
Don
interested.
Cheadle now.
We can replace you." And I believe that Terrence Howard didn't even have anything to do with it. I think his agent was the one that fucked up.
Yeah, probably. But you
But
probably
it
would
just
have
goes
seen
to
him a
show
lot
the
more
point that I'm
angry.
trying to make overall is that nobody knows. You can't base these salaries. The people that probably played, who got paid in Black Panther, probably got paid peanuts because nobody knew whether the series was going to blow up or whether it was even going to be successful.
Yep. Renegotiate.
I think they know now. So why do you think it took so long for there to be a Black Panther 2 announcement? Because Ryan Coogler is saying, "Yo, son, I'm $1 billion director." Hello.
Yep.
Now everybody getting paid. And
Yep.
one thing I'll give respect to for Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. made sure that the Avengers cast got their due. He
Yeah.
went to
Like, I
bat
think-
for them. He
'Cause
went
I
to bat
think
for them and
now, Scarlett Johansson, I think she's about to get a Black Widow movie now.
right.
So
But
Yeah.
but Robert Downey Jr. went to bat for his co-stars. He said, "Listen, I'm not gonna," because he got paid. I think it was it Iron Man? Which was the one? Oh no, it was Avengers. The first Avengers.
Mhm.
That dude, salary wise, got $50 million. We're not even talking about his merchandise. He don't have to work ever again after the first Avengers movie.
Mhm.
He can chill. He made $50 million on that movie, and he got money on the back end, and he got merchandise. Just like Black Jack Nicholson got super paid off that Batman with Michael Keaton,
Mhm.
yeah,
because he got a cut of the merchandise on that movie and on the back end. And I'm talking about, if anybody remembers when that first Black Man came out, that merchandise was selling like fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was.
because the suit looks actually decent
Yeah.
as opposed to the
Yeah.
Adam West one.
So nobody, like, these guys, Robert Downey Jr. is paid, though, son. Paid.
And then I think
Made
after the
sure that all of his
first,
castmates got all of them are making in the millions, for playing an Avenger.
yeah,
So you can't be
Yeah.
mad at him. Get mad at your agent, man. You could have been War Machine.
he could have been
Yeah.
War Machine and what's his name on Empire, Lucius Lyon.
But to be honest, with you, Cheeto does look more like. Oh, somebody said it. Cheeto looks
Yeah,
more like
Vic-
Rhodey
yeah,
than
Vic
Howard.
Shepherd, yeah.
Yeah, Cheeto does look more like Rhodey from the comics. And Cheeto's good,
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, he's a good actor.
actor.
Honestly, Don Cheadle fit more than Terrence Howard to me. When I saw Iron Man 2, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good fit.
Yeah. Even though I did like Terrence Howard in the first Iron Man, I had no problem with him.
Yeah,
And had he continued, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. But the problem is, it's just sad that they couldn't keep that continuity. Because listen, son, we know you got paid more because I think he was Oscar nominated that year when they picked him.
okay.
So that's why he got the big salary. And they were really taking a chance on Robert Downey Jr., so they kind of undercut him to get him in that role.
Yeah, that's true, Vic.
Once he blew up, which I knew he was, I told everybody before I saw it, I said, "Oh, they picking Downey to play Tony Stark? Watch what's going to happen." I knew it. I knew he was going to blow up.
Yeah, now it actually too, like even in the animated shows, like in movies now that they make, they kind of like make it so he looks like Robert Downey
Exactly.
Jr.
He
some
killed
way.
the role so badly that now the comics is basically modeling Tony Stark after him, because
Yeah,
the Tony Stark in the comic books, if you remember this, the Tony Stark in the comic books, he wasn't as charismatic or flamboyant. He didn't have that same swagger that Robert Downey Jr. gave the character. He was more like a somber, I would say, Bruce Wayne Batman type character.
Yeah. Even now, even with Nick Fury now, so because of Samuel Jackson's acting in every show now, even the comics as well, they make him black, and he looks just like Samuel Jackson.
Exactly, they based him on Samuel, and that's
for
why
those that don't know,
Nick
Fury's actually white. Like, he's originally white. Now they making that they just made him black, and it fits.
They're going by the Samuel Jackson Nick Fury is the ultimate Nick Fury.
Yeah. I was watching Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, I was watching the show Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm so upset that they canceled it still, but but yeah, Vic Shepherd. Yeah, like I don't know why they didn't really harp on that in Black Panther, because T'Challa's actually pretty smart.
But hell
in the movie, there's kind of like he's just like a regular royal person that's just, I guess, just knows basic knowledge, I guess.
But, well, they gave him, he's smart, but they give his sister.
Yeah, all of the genius level. Yeah,
because she's the one who's actually running the the technology.
Yeah.
But in the comics, like, he's very smart. He's up there like with Doom and Reed Richards.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you remember that show. Like early decade. It was like an Avengers cartoon, like one of the first. Mm-hmm. There's an episode where he takes Captain America to Wakanda because his shield broke, and he's actually sitting there. He said, "I got to take the shield back so I can repair it." And he's actually doing the repairs himself on the computer. So, and a lot of another character, my favorite character of all, Spider-Man. People just don't tend to like understand that he's actually smart too. I guess the jokes make them think that he's dumb.
Yeah.
But he's actually really fucking smart.
Very smart. Actually, everybody, like, Marvel is really what made smart people cool.
Yeah.
It really was. It's like when I remember reading back in the days, it made you want to learn shit. And they actually taught you a lot in the comic books. Like, my cousin always talks about how he passed a science test because he read Marvel comics.
Oh, wow.
That's dope.
You know? Like, they made being smart cool. Like, Reed Richards is cool. Dr. Doom, even though he's a villain, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they all smart people. Even Thanos in the comics is smart. Like, he don't really get into brawls. He outsmarts most of the people that he fights.
In the movie, he kind of does that.
He tricked the in the comics, how he tricked the champion of the universe out of the Power Stone.
I think so, yeah.
You know, it's
in the movie, he kind of does some outwitting, even though he was pretty much overpowered in that whole Infinity Wars movie. But it's kind of like he knew like what they was gonna do. Like oh yeah, which stone was it that they was getting when it was
Wow,
it was that city. Now go ahead.
Eric says Reed Richards is why I got into science.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's really dope.
I can believe that. Like, I've seen a lot of scientists talk about Marvel characters and just how smart they were and what made them get into what they were doing, just based on those comics.
It's just like the show is stated. They thinking outside of the box, man. What are the possibilities? You know,
like there's because Marvel is more science based anyways than DC. DC is more like religion and fantasy, but like if you look at it, but Marvel, they deal with like mainly science, like stuff that could actually make sense.
Yeah, as Stan Lee would say, they have a scientific bent.
Yeah,
it's not exactly science, but it has a scientific bent to it. So like they try to give plausibility to whatever their characters are, so that every character, to a certain degree, has a weakness. I just don't like the new writers really piss me off with the way that they handle certain characters. Like Thanos is really annoying to me. The way that they handle Thanos in the comics, it's like it just doesn't make any sense, because Thanos, has high durability in the comics. Like he's able to endure a lot of punishment just based on his makeup, but he doesn't have a lot of feats of strength in the comics. So how do you have Thanos whipping the Hulk's ass? That don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make. Now, keep in mind, for the movie, I didn't mind because I understand why they did that, because you want to build him up as this big ass bad villain that they have to fight. So you have to do that. Like he has to take out Thor and the Hulk because those are the strongest ones. So it make people say, "Damn, if you could take out the Hulk and Thor, then what the fuck we gonna do with this dude?" So I understand it from that perspective. I'm just talking about in the comic level. Thor hit Thanos with a fuck. Like they had Thor in the comic books who was mad, and he had the Power Stone, and he couldn't beat Thanos. Oh, you get the fuck out of here! That's complete and absolute bullshit. You talking about? That's when you making Thanos out like fucking Superman. Where you just assigning powers to him just
give
to make
him every
cool.
power.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I see they overdid it, but like for the basic person that's watching the movie, they watch it for entertainment. But those us comic book heads like, nah, get the fuck out of here.
Because first of all, another thing, it's like, all right, you just had him beating the Hulk, and then Captain America is holding back his hands. Get the fuck out of here.
Captain America is nowhere as near.
Nowhere in the vicinity of power of Thanos. If Thanos can overpower the Hulk, how is have Captain America able to do anything with him?
Wait, to be fair, wasn't it after Thor threw his axe at him when he got stabbed?
Nah, this is before.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's whooping on the Silver Surfer like he ain't shit. They be, oh man, it's like, come on, man. They be overpowering Thanos to ridiculous amounts.
That shit was too funny.
They better make it right in this next one, man. I better see some Hulk payback, because I'm kind of pissed off. A lot of Hulk fans is kind of salty right now at the Russos, even though we love you. We love you guys. Because y'all better do us right, man.
He made the Hulk scared. He didn't even want to come out. Like he was like not. It was to the point that he yelled no. Like he's like, I'm not coming out.
Like you better make some corrections on that shit.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it's called bad writing. Like when anybody who's in possession, I love how our discussions go from infrastructure to comic books. I love that shit.
Yeah.
If you have the Power Stone is one of the Infinity Gems. Anybody that holds, like, now this is their MacGuffin in the comics and in the movies. So anybody in possession of the Power Stone is automatically the most powerful person. Or else, why do you need a Power Stone?
Right.
When She-Hulk consistently beats up on Titania, and there was one story where Titania got the Power Stone and she whooped She-Hulk's ass, crushed her hand, beat the shit out of her because she had the Power Stone. So how are you going to give Thor, who's already powerful, the Power Stone, and he still can't beat Thanos? So Thanos is stronger than the Power Stone. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Brother Joel actually said in the movie Scarlet Witch, how Scarlet Witch actually is as powerful as the stone in the movie. Because that's why they had her destroy the stone and what's his name? Shit, I can't think of his name. Fuck, Vision.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the movie, yeah, it was like what? Like,
but they had to really depower and nerf a lot of the real powerful characters. Because if you look at the Avengers, Hulk, Thor, and Vision are three of the most powerful ones in the group. Yeah. So they had to do something to them to take them out of the game. Militant Black Buddha says, I think Monsieur Muhammad had an interesting question. I maybe missed that because I was running my mouth. Let me see.
Yeah. Can we currently create a BAIO Afrikan currency and pay system in exchange for services, goods within the BAIO community, placing a value on labor, services, and goods?
My question is where? Because if you're planning on doing that in America, I would say no, and I'm going to give you some examples.
That would actually be seen as a threat here, actually, by doing that.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the article, but they tried that in the you know the what do they call them? I want to say the Alex Jones people, but he's not really a proper representation. But that whole constitutionalist libertarian guys, they tried to start up their own currency. And guess what happened?
Shut down.
Raided by the federal government. See,
yeah, that's considered a national threat by doing anything of that nature.
It's a lot of things that we're thinking about, but we're thinking about it within the context of America. I think that if you have control over your own piece of territory, a lot of the things that we're paranoid about, we don't have to be anymore because we control the context. It's like what Dundada was saying.
Yeah, or rip something like that. That's considered a national threat. Like you're trying to undermine the nation by doing that.
What happened to Holip? He just stopped.
No, I'm here.
Oh shit! Oh, okay.
He probably got up to go get something.
No, I'm right here.
Oh.
I just stopped talking.
No, I mean with your headset. Like you probably just got up to go get something. You have a wireless headset?
Stop talking. Yeah, I got my own wireless.
Okay.
Oh, we got 20 dislikes. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like, what are we talking about that's so offensive?
I guess they all came when we were talking about comic books. But this ain't about dream warriors and who design the future.
You should have tuned in earlier. We still talking about it though.
Yeah.
But
everything we talked about so far, I circled back to it.
Does anybody have anything else to add? Because I'm about ready to kirk out.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Anything like?
Any questions? Any questions from the chat room?
Oh, Obi said, should our currency be backed by physical resources? It's actually a good question. Because we could make a currency.
Wait, what was it again?
Yeah, should our currency be backed by physical resources, like gold and stuff like that?
If we have them.
Because since I'm more on the digital side, like I was like, we could probably just inflate, like just deal in digital currency, just inflate it.
I mean, shouldn't your current? Well, see, this is the thing. This is another long. That's a show. If you want to talk about what your currency should be backed by,
yeah, that should be like all the financial people talking about that.
Yeah, because then you're getting down into some basic principles that's going to determine that.
Have we had a financial show?
A while ago. Not currently.
Probably do that again. I probably wasn't there for that. That's probably before I joined.
Somebody sawing? Who's that?
Oh no, that's me, man.
Okay, I'm like,
that's me.
Somebody building a tree.
I'm multitasking, man. Yeah, you know, I gotta keep it moving.
You want me to mute you?
No, I'm about to cook, man, for the family.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's probably watching, like, rinsing some dishes off.
Well, we getting ready to tune out anyway.
Oh, no, I'm about to throw it on the grill.
Oh, okay.
We about to tune out anyway.
Somebody, Sam H said, any commentary on the black coindian in Canada? I guess that's their Bitcoin.
In Canada?
Yeah.
What is that? Black.
I have no idea. It says Condian. I can't even pronounce it. Let me Google it.
Oh, is he saying condition? Like,
yeah, I think he says condition. He just put
okay.
a Y.
I thought he was talking about like some currency or something.
What? No, Sam H. No, I don't even know if we even have Canadians in the group.
Obi, when you say digital currency is like monopoly money, what exactly do you mean? Because all money is like monopoly money as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if you're not using gold or jewels, then it's monopoly money.
Like why? I don't understand why. Oh, you're gonna have to mute them data. Hold on.
Okay, I am. Hold on, I'm about to mute. I'm about to put myself on.
Oh, you mute yourself? Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put the charcoal in.
But yeah, okay, he muted. Yeah, all fiat money, like Eric said, all fiat money is like that. Like, why is it the digital currency is given this, pejorative? Why is it spoken of in a pejorative? Oh, digital currency, that's not real money. Real money compared to what?
If you got a direct deposit, that's not real money. That's money being digitally transferred to your bank account.
Yeah, like what's real money? What does that mean? There's a good book that people should read. It's kind of old, but I think it fits with what's going on now, called The Death of Money. If you can go on Amazon and check that book out. It's years ago, but it's probably been updated. But it gets the basic concept of what we're talking about right now. Money is a concept. So really, it's a question of how you configure your monetary system is going to be based on your concept of money.
The concept of money is the name of the book?
Because right now in America, what they need credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They need credit. So if that's your, like, if you're into credit and if you're into interest, then your concept of money is going to be a whole lot different than other nations who don't believe in interest and really try to balance their budget, whatever.
What's the name of the book again?
The Death of Money.
Yeah. I think I was reading some history in Africa where their currency was like cocoa beans or something like that, or they used to trade. That was their currency because it was actually something physical.
Anything can be your currency. Whatever your major resource is on whatever nation or land you are, that can be your currency. You can back it by that.
Right. And that's the whole the trade is about. What do you call it? That's where all the freaking slavery stuff came in at. With the trade routes. They controlled that where they I'm trying to think of the name of it. The resources, where they was doing trade at. So up and down that route, that's all it was. Mm-hmm. They was controlling that, whatever they was getting from the Congo, whatever they was getting from whatever African country, that route, they wanted control of it, just like NEC, like in World War II with what's his name, with Hitler. They was blowing up freaking ships containing with food and goods, you couldn't eat. Yeah. I forgot the name of that country was, where they was wiping those ships out so they wouldn't get no reinforcement and no food and stuff.
So even around that, in the same war, Russia, like when they was invading Russia, Stalin, he said, "Yo, burn all the houses down when you leave, so they don't have nowhere to stay in this cold ass nights."
You can place a value. You can place a value on anything. Like people talk about the intrinsic value of this and the intrinsic value of that. Nothing really has intrinsic. I mean, if you have a value in terms of usage, maybe, but intrinsic value is all about perception. Like, what do you perceive? Do you perceive this as being valuable? And if you do, and if the general population do, then it has a value to it that you can assign something to.
Yep, that's how it works.
So, the people, the gold and silver people, talk about that intrinsic value thing, and I understand where they're coming from, but you still have to value gold, and you still have to value silver. You know what I'm saying?
They said Muammar Gaddafi was trying to make the standard gold and diamonds and stuff again on the continent.
Well, he just wanted what he wanted. I think they said that the global debt, like global credit, the amount of money that's actually floating around across the world, I forget what figure, but it's in the trillions compared to the actual GDP of the world. Is much, much more. That's why I say when somebody says I'm worth $150 billion, is that liquid?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing when somebody says that. That's net worth. That just means like if I could buy you, that's how much you cost. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how much you have.
Can you go somewhere and pull out $150 billion from anywhere?
No.
Yeah. That's what people get confused.
With net worth, they think that net worth is what they have. It's like, no, that's what they're worth if you was to buy them.
Yeah, that's
But
on
that doesn't mean
paper.
what they have.
That's paper wealth. But how much money can you like? How much liquid capital is that out of
Right.
that 150 billion? So
Zero.
so you have a lot of this, like a lot of it's like it's all zeros and ones anyway.
Mm-hmm.
How many credits? Soon it's not even going to be money anymore, or cash. It's going to be credits. How many credits do you have compared to how many credits somebody else has?
That's what I was saying earlier. That's the future, man, with the digital
Yeah.
currency, the credits.
And I kind of like when it comes to the blockchain and the Bitcoin, I agree with the concept of a decentralized banking system. I agree with that. All I'm saying is we need to bring that curve to a point where people, the average person, can understand it and participate in it without feeling like, complete idiots like I do.
It needs to. Hopefully, there's somebody in the group that's very capable and understanding of the technology, and is able to then teach like the youth that, so then the youth can then take over for that.
Right. But if I could, I'm all for a decentralized system when it comes to currency. I just want to understand it and be able to participate it in more of a way that I kind of get what this is, what it's about.
Yeah.
And I haven't, like, I've on a surface level gotten into it to try to understand what it is. I haven't really dived and gotten deep into it.
No, I'm gonna
But I
definitely
do
read that
know that
article.
I do know that it's a learning curve.
So it's all about just, is it like just building like topologies, or is it all like software based? Like, is it like coding?
I believe it's coding.
Okay.
It's software based. And I think that's what scares people because they feel like, all right, well now our financial system is going to be in the hands of nerds.
That's smart, but
You're right, exactly. But
that's a smart thing
people
to
are
do.
afraid.
They're afraid of being stupid. That's why. So it's better than bash the person that's smarter.
Mr. Cass says, I think one area of revenue for African would be to become a financial hub for Africa. That way money can be safely stored on the continent and not have to be taken to places like Europe.
We can do that. We
Well,
just need a military to do that.
you gotta have rule of law, man. No matter wherever you are at, you gotta have rule of law, and it can't be a corrupt system openly because there's gonna be levels of corruption in any system that you have, but you don't want it to be blatant and out front. Like when I
Right.
don't want to be able to go to a TSA agent and slip them $20 or something out of my pocket so I can slide through. We can't
Right.
have that, man. We can't have that.
That's a
That type
security
of
breach.
overt, just in your face corruption, that can't go down because people aren't going to trust your system. You got to have rule of law, man. You got to.
And then that's when we get into like just like the enforcement of it.
Hmm.
I think we talked about it a little bit the last time I was on them, and it was kind of like a touchy thing to touch on. Like, I think somebody said like they didn't think we needed it, and I'm like, nah, I think
We didn't need
do.
what?
Enforcement of the law, like cops
What?
and stuff
Somebody
like
said
that.
that?
They didn't say that. They didn't say no, but it was kind of like against it, in a certain manner. I'm like, I don't gotta be lethal. It could be like, that's what I'm saying. Like it could be like the UK, whereas like the regular cops don't have weapons. They just handle the people with their body.
Right.
And then if it gets if it escalates, then they have armed police officers that come in.
Right.
But the
Well,
regular
first of
person,
all,
the most
like,
they have will just have a mallet. And
the
that's it.
problem with America is there's a lot of guns in America, and so it's kind of like if you're in America and you're a cop, I can't imagine what a system would look like for a cop in America to not have a gun.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, context is everything. Like you can't institute certain policies within this context because it's just not feasible. It's not the same animal as somewhere else.
And I think people tend to forget like our nation is going to be filled with smart people that want progress. Now, after we're dead and gone, that's a different story. Hopefully, our ideologies stayed, and then those people then took on those same ideologies and morals. But starting out, I don't think we have to really think about that, except for outside forces. But us as a group, no.
Now, OB just asked a question that it requires an entire show. He said, should we be a republic like ancient Rome, communist, socialist, a federation?
I
That's
think
a
the
show right there.
BAIO is more. I would say honestly, we're probably more of like a federation, I guess, along those lines. But that's what my own ideologies is. What I would like to see the group grow, like, or like an empire. But I don't like the word empire. I don't know. That just seems like you just like saying fuck everybody else's way of life. You're gonna follow mine with empire, like the
I
word.
think it's also a
So,
kind of, it's sort of like a cart before the horse type situation too.
yeah.
We don't know what our society is going to be like before we actually build the society. We don't know what, and a lot of that is based on where you're at geographically.
Right.
That's going to determine what type of structure you have in terms of your infrastructure. What are the resources that's on the land? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's a,
Right.
like it's an interesting question, and it's one that I've actually gotten into this discussion before. But one thing I will say, and this is just me, when it comes to basing your society on something, I believe that we should look at history and we should look at what's going on right now and look at what the top nations in the world are right now. And if we go by that metric, social democracies are killing whooping everybody's ass. Is capitalist societies with a social safety net, basically. It's not socialism, the the boogeyman socialism. Oh, socialism. It's a capitalist society with a social safety net. That's basically what it is. It's like this basic needs of the people in the society are taken care of. And then after that is what you do with your life and how you participate in capitalism like everybody else. I just think they have taken a capitalist society and shown you that you don't need to have every aspect of the society controlled by capitalism. And I think that's a correct approach. It doesn't mean eliminating capitalism because as far as the people who say we don't need or to get rid of capitalism, period, I think they're idiots as well. Like, what are you talking about?
Because they think that for some odd reason that the whole entire continent at one point was just everybody was just farmers and just traders and shit. I'm like, no. If you look, they actually dealt with checks and shit like that back then.
Or if you're anti-capitalist, what are you still going? You gonna get rid of your Android?
Right.
You gonna get rid of your computer? Like, come on, man. Like, I really wish people would be more nuanced and stop thinking in sound bites. And it seems like the low frequency people do that all the time on both sides. It's like, come on, let's have some nuanced discussion about this shit.
Tina's actually had a really good guest on. You should check it out. I forgot his name though. It was like 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. He had a black dude that was a capitalist himself. He had like 5 nonprofits, and he was just talking about how capitalism could really benefit our race. And I don't know why people are against it. And then he was just discussing like multiple reasons and ways how.
I would challenge that they're not against it, except in mouth and rhetoric. I don't believe that black folks or any of these people who say they're against capitalism are really against capitalism. I think they mouth they're against capitalism, but they're usually doing it while they're typing on a fucking keyboard and sending it across, the internet, using all the technology that comes from capitalism to say that you don't like capitalism.
But half of them don't even know what it actually means to be a capitalist. So when they say it, they just talking.
Yeah.
Like, actually read up on it and understand it before you have an opinion about it.
Exactly. And you're not going to get that, really.
Oh, it's evil.
Yeah, you're going to get that. You're going to get the classic, like I said, talking points, and just catchphrases.
Yeah.
I have zero problems with capitalism. Zero problems with it in its proper context. I just think that certain things shouldn't be under capitalism. Capitalism shouldn't be involved in healthcare at all. Anybody who thinks that is a fucking moron. And the only reason why you think that is because you're trying to make some money. Find another industry, nigga. Blockbuster went out of video. Blockbuster Video went out of business. I don't think all the people that work for Blockbuster died.
Netflix was better.
They just found something else to do. Like I said, I used to work with mainframe computers. That shit ain't around no more. What did I do? Did I go and starve in the streets?
They just don't understand like technology and updating and moving along with society as far as like, you know, the 8 tracks, the records, the tape decks, CDs. Now we got everything digital. So you see what I'm saying? It's like they want to be.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Now you just went through a progression, right? Just now.
Right.
Let me ask you something. Did you have to become vegan for that to happen?
Nope.
Did you? What lifestyle changes did you make when we went from analog to digital?
Nothing.
The system went because that's the way the technology was going, and your little bullshit, whatever you was doing, all you did was adapt to it.
Yep.
So there goes that.
And this goes to what I was saying. As long as you stick to your principles, you just make your adjustments as you go. Ain't nothing changed with yourself, so to say. We know that, right? We know we need to stay with technology. We know we need to have educated people. We know we have certain quote unquote morals that we have to abide by, but you know, it's not going to compromise us moving to Africa and building our own and keeping it there. You know,
let me throw something into the discourse. Let's address this. Automation is replacing human labor. This is a fact. The genie is not getting put back in the bottle.
Right.
So after the initial development of the nation, that's where your initial jobs are going to come from the building of it. Building the infrastructure and everything that comes with that is where your jobs are going to come from. But once the buildings are in place, once the infrastructure is in place, what about after that?
You know, it's funny because then people that don't like technicians, they're going to end up being technicians to then keep a job.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How are people going to work in society? Like, are we going to have to redefine what work is in a society? Are we going to have that same goods and services exchange of currency type thing going on? Or are we going to try to elevate to something else? Because how is that going to work in a society where it's automated and you basically eliminated human labor? And that's coming.
But that's why they're scared of it. But they shouldn't be scared of it. Again, the magic word that a lot of us don't like, adapt. Adaptation. That's what I said in that video. It's like, come on, man.
Everybody adapts, but it's just those that don't adapt, guess what happened to them? They fall off, they die.
Yep.
They don't exist anymore. You know? It's just like, you know, you got that person that's stuck into this era. I mean, you know, everybody has those in their family. Like, oh man, I ain't buying this. I ain't getting this phone. And, you know, they still got flip phone, and they still trying to figure out the punch or text something, or they trying to dial numbers where we just open up our phone, swipe it. Hey, here's the number.
Yeah.
Let me type that name in. Now I don't have to freaking go through and, you know, so people just don't get it, man. It's just
certain things that don't make any sense, and people like best example I can give of it is in the football and these very physical sports like MMA and boxing and stuff where your shelf life personally is really dramatically decreased if you participated in these sports.
Right.
You don't really live too long because you basically put everything out there in the sport. Wrestling, what people say is fake. That shit is not fake on your body.
No, it's not. It takes a toll.
If you jumping off of turnstiles and hitting your back on the mat 7 days a week, you don't think that takes you're a human being. I don't care how tough you are.
Robot.
So and the funny thing, what makes it hard to get out of that mentality is wrestlers, people in the fight game, they consider themselves warriors. They look at that pain and that bullshit as a badge of honor. It's like the most, like, oh, like you hear football players, yeah, man, I remember I broke my arm, but I got back in the huddle and did the next play. It's like they take pride in that shit.
Yeah, my dad actually happened to my dad when he used to play. He actually
they take pride in it. So it makes it very hard. Like, so if you're trying to create a system where, yo, nigga, can I put some padding in your fucking helmet? Can I make it so that you don't have brain damage after the game is over?
Yeah, my dad broke his leg and snapped it back in place and still played.
Yeah, it's like, and that's what they do. They warriors. That's what they do. They don't care about, like, they don't. But we supposed to care about them. You know what I'm saying? Just because they don't, like, it's, to me, it's just taking advantage of them. Like, oh, well, this nigga, he'll do anything for $1. Let him go out there and injure himself. That's why this whole conversation about steroids is kind of funny to me. Nobody gives a fuck about the athlete. So why not juice him up and get him out on the field? Why not?
Honor.
You don't give a fuck about him?
For the sake of honor of the sport.
Yeah, what honor? What honor? There's no honor, because you fucking them up right now. I mean, like, it's already been proven that those guys are going to end up with brain damage after their football career is over. It's been proven.
Look at Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it's been proven. So you're already fucking them over for $1. You don't care about their future after they stop getting on that court or that field and scoring touchdowns and field goals for you. So why are we pretending? You know, I don't like that, man. I don't like that pretending shit. Like the people who pretend that they was really concerned about Michael Jackson's childhood. No, you want to see the robot, nigga. Just admit it. That was more important than his childhood. You seen him doing the robot on Soul Train. Don't try to act. Don't give me that bullshit with now. It's, oh, that's a shame what Joe did. Yeah, if Joe didn't do what he did, you wouldn't be able to enjoy Dancing Machine. So shut the fuck up and stop being a hypocrite and throw all your Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 albums out the window in the trash compactor. So in protest of Michael Jackson's childhood, get the fuck out of here.
We wouldn't have none of his kids. Man. None of his kids would be happily living.
Yeah. People. I don't like that fake sentiment shit. Be real. Like I said, you can say whatever you want to about me. I'm gonna tell you some real shit, man. You ain't never seen no video. If anybody can go to a post on my Facebook, my Google Plus, Twitter, any social media account, and see me talking about Black women disrespecting themselves by showing a body, I will give you my next paycheck. Because I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to get out here on this pious, righteous man bullshit. I'm going to tell you like it is. I want you to see your fucking body.
Your body.
You ain't going to see me talking some bullshit. So, well, I'm trying to impress somebody.
Nah, but then you become a simp, whatever that means.
I don't even know what that means. Is a simp somebody that likes the female body?
Well, yeah.
Guilty as charged, nigga. That's your insult? Yo, that Holip, you like black women's bodies too much. Yeah, know what? No kidding. You got me. I'm a big fan of strippers. Big fan.
Oh, it goes to what you was talking about earlier, Holip, when you first came on about the food industry. That could go for the beauty industry. That could go for any industry that we participate in. Like, so for instance, like you was talking about the beauty, like, oh, women showing their body and doing this and doing that. But like, yo, first of all, like, you know that you saying women are beautiful. You like women's body, but you don't want them to show it. But then again, you talking about, oh, let me see these models right here. Mm-hmm. Let me see how they look in these panties or these thongs or this bra, or whatever the case may be. Oh, she's beautiful. You know, then you go to the extreme of doing the extra stuff as far as, you know, like, okay, we know that women look beautiful, do we have to have every kind of like magazine to show that, or is it just something that we just fetish about?
We'd like to see it.
Exactly.
We just like to see it. My thing is, don't be a hypocrite, man. It's like, all right, perfect example is the porn industry. The porn industry is the industry that's $1 billion industry that nobody watches.
Yeah, right.
Nobody watches. Yet it's making money from some reason. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. Because that's immoral.
But then they'll come out with a column saying how to make your intimacy better in the bed. Then they take tips from porno stars or X, Y, and Z. This, this sex addict.
Kwame asked a question. He says, so there are no morals. I'm so happy that you asked that question. Because that's not what the point is. The point is whether there's no morals or not. The point is, are there actual morals? And who's actually upholding them on the real? Because, see, this is the reason why, like, me and Kyla got into it, and we still continue to get it over Bill Cosby. And my big problem with Bill Cosby, and the reason why I rail so hard against him, is because he's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
He's a monumental hypocrite. Don't preach morals to me and then go behind me and do the very same thing that you was preaching to me and judging me for doing. That is that's hypocrisy on such a monumental level that I can't even comprehend it. So it's one thing to talk about morals, and it's another thing to actually be about morals. How many people about the shit that they constantly trying to shove down everybody else's throat? I think, and this is just me personally, honesty is more righteous and more more acceptable than somebody out here talking the talk and saying all the right things in terms of what makes our ears feel really nice, but then a degenerate asshole behind. They go off screen and off camera and just a bunch of degenerates. So which is worse? Which is worse? I caught a guy out there, one of my friends, I caught out there in this argument. We were talking about Bill Cosby, and he brought up Snoop Dogg. And one of the arguments that he said about Bill Cosby was he said that these women that Bill Cosby that accused him of this sexual molestation or whatever, they all consented to being drugged. Now, maybe I don't hang out in certain circles, but I don't ever recall black women or women just in general agreeing to being drugged unconscious so they can fuck you. Is that a new thing, or am I out of the loop?
I don't know, man.
Because I've been around for a while. I've dated different women. I don't ever recall a woman saying, "Yo, could you drug me so that I'm unconscious and then fuck me?" So I don't remember what the fuck happened because I'm really into that. So he brings up Snoop Dogg, and as a matter of fact, Kala gracefully bowed out of this discussion because he realized how much of a freaking hypocrite he was on it. You bring up Snoop Dogg and you point to the fact that Snoop Dogg had the black women on leashes when he went to a certain event. So my question was, didn't they consent to it? Was he raping them when they did it? He forced them to do it? They consented to being on leashes. So according to your own logic, why are you disrespecting Snoop Dogg, but you looking up to Bill Cosby? Uh-oh. Next thing you know, crickets. Stop being a fucking hypocrite, man. Stop trying to be a moralist and pointing to what people should and should not be doing if you ain't willing to live up to that same standard yourself. I would be a monumental hypocrite if I'm on here talking about, oh, these black women, I don't understand why you showing your body. That's a sacred thing. And then you go and look on my hard drive and see nothing but ass. Come on, man. At least I'm real with it. Like I said, I didn't have like me. I think was it me and you, Dundada? I forget. I was on the phone at the time, but we were talking about Umar Johnson, and the fact that he had a stripper, and everybody was like, "Oh," I'm like, I had zero problems with the fact that Umar Johnson wanted to get with a stripper. As a matter of fact, once I saw, I was like, "Oh shit, I understand."
I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah, I didn't understand that myself either. But it's again, like you said it. You said this with Dinaz. Like apparently, when you become quote unquote conscious, sex, you're above sex and booty and all this other stupid shit.
Yeah, because it's that bullshit that we allow that shit. Monsieur says in his defense, please don't start the conversation off. If in his defense, Mr. Cosby has said the pills he gave Miss Constant and Benadryl, he said she knew and didn't contest that. Yeah, that's her. Even if that's true, that's her. Trust me, I know about this dude. This Bill Cosby Ruthying up chicks is something that's been common knowledge for about 20 years within the industry. This is nothing new.
Yeah,
nothing
Vic,
new.
He tried to cover it up, Vic, because he knew people in the conscious community was going to be stupid and bash him for it.
Yeah,
That's
what
why.
he should have did was embraced it and said, "Do you see my ass? You want me to post a picture of this woman's ass so you don't know why I was with her? Because that's what I would have did. I say, now you look at that and you tell me, nigga, you gonna judge me? You wouldn't get with that. Let's see you be a hypocrite on that one.
Oh
shit.
Uh-oh, the food burning.
Yeah, yo, you made me forget about that. No, I just got it. Oh, I got the charcoal burner. I forgot all about it.
Yo, we better end this show because I don't want the house to burn down.
Yo, this shit is white.
Oh damn.
Oh shit.
Yo, let me let you go, man. Let's wrap this up because it's 3:00 anyway.
Anybody have final questions? Any final questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we had a good one. It's 35 likes, 20 dislikes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a positive ratio.
Yeah. The troll only got in 20 dislikes. Not bad. But anyway, y'all, have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm about to get over here and get something to eat.
Yeah,
and I will holler at you good people later.
All right,
yo.
All right,
have a good one.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good day.
Peace.
Peace.
Until next time. Peace.